Drunken currency live stream. Yes. Yes. Let me know when you see me. It's done directing to YouTube. Should be, but yeah, need to grab the link. Hello everyone. Welcome to another live edition of Collapse with Casey. This is the Drunken Currency live stream, we're going to call that today. Hopefully everybody is feeling good on a Friday night. Hopefully you're not running from flood or fires or credit unions or all that bullshit. So these from now on are pretty much just going to be you and I. So I'm going to paste the link if you want to join the Zoom and hang out and talk, and let us know what you're going through, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, and let's have an intelligent conversation, right? So yeah, I just posted I posted it, man. Posted the Zoom on the Zoom link. It's totally posted in the chat, man. Last week we had a technical difficulty. Like the first attempt only lasted like 20 seconds, and we got booted. So and then I had to restart it. So hopefully this works this week. And just looking for, see if this is indeed live. Go back to the, yep. Billy J, hey, what's up, man? Good. So yeah, it appears as though everyone can see. Good to see you. Good to have you, Billy. I posted the link. Anybody wants to join the Zoom? So this week's title, Drunken Currency, man. So I every morning when I drive to work, between pukes, I kind of reminisce, just like we all probably are, like you look upon your life, and at this point you're kind of assessing, what you did, and your history and all that. And I feel like we're nothing but fucking money making zombie robots. And that, what did you do all your life? Well, me, I was a parts guy. I announced motorcycle races. I published a newspaper for 5 years, and and then that didn't really get any information out as much as I tried. And then wanted to start doing this channel, Collapse with Casey. And so yeah, reflecting back, I never would have done all those things if it weren't for money. We're just money making zombies. What I really wanted to do was not have to make money. I wanted to live, go do better things, not have to be a fucking parts guy, right? Hey, Grateful Dan, what's up, dude? We all are subject to, what do you do? I do this. We're just money making zombies. It's fucking, and at the end of the time, you want to get a break from that. That's why we look forward to retirement, right? We pay into Social Security all our lives, which will most of us, many of us, will never see. I've paid into it for personally. Tammy too. She's here. I can call her out. We're about the same age. We paid into it our entire fucking lives. We won't see a fucking penny, right? Yet the word on the street is that, Wendy's doesn't have enough people showing up for work to either open the doors or open the lobby. So only drive-through is open or they're closed altogether. So you can't get your fucking hamburger. You gotta wait in a drive-through line and you can't eat inside. Doesn't fucking matter, right? Uh uh Lewis, what's up, man? Who's the new kid? Shit. uh that's funny. So yeah, I just been thinking about like how we are nothing more than fucking money making zombies. And what a slavery fucking shit show, right? So um that's uh that's that's really yeah, I try to because I try to write a couple of notes, things to talk about. Yeah, that's really it, man. I just can't get beyond the point of like being a money making zombie and trying to reflect on your life and what I wanted to Lewis, you can't be that new. You're already typing and you're on like a YouTube live stream. Hey Chad, what's up, dude? Lewis, you can't be that new. I'm just joking, man. Of course you're you're not you just didn't get born. That's stupid, I know. But welcome, dude. Thanks for joining the channel. Usually there's a lot more going on. There's but you're free to I posted the Zoom. So you guys hop on the Zoom and be on the show with me and we'll talk. If this is boring and you can't stand it, I understand. I'll just react with you guys in the chat and talk for a little bit, whether it's for 30 minutes or an hour or two. Hey, Trish. It's just good to see everybody and just to say hello. I do have an interview tomorrow at 12 Eastern time. Interviewing John Boyle. He is Kevin Hester hooked us up weeks ago, and he believes that we're headed to 10 plus C. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a good talk. I've watched one of his presentations. He's got at least a couple, maybe more on YouTube, and I watched one of his presentations. It was really good. I was really impressed. I couldn't really find any fault in what he was presenting, the information he was presenting. So I was really, really excited about that. So, hopefully he does show up. You never know. Sometimes people back out or whatever. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. We always do the live stream, Eastern time, 6 o'clock on Fridays, and I want that kind of a a normal thing so that people will know when to tune in and join and be a part of this with me. So I appreciate that, you guys. And hey, welcome, Indigo.
Hi, Joey. Hello.
How are you doing?
Good, doing great. Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. You're not on fire. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We keeping the cool temperatures here on the coast.
Really? You're getting really some cool breeze and
yeah, and sunshine. It's a perfect 70 sunny degrees.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's awesome. And I can see the sun or the sun. I can see the sun really is bright in the background. That's good, man. And 70 degrees, that's
yeah, and it's really good because we have had fog day and night for about 3 weeks. And this is the first day it's cleared off in sun in about 3 weeks. So the fog's really gloomy, but I'll take it over the deadly heat any day.
No, is the fog, absolutely. Is the fog smoky or is it real fog?
Real fog. There's no smoke here yet.
Oh,
not this year. It can come, and it has before, but not yet this year.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Does it usually happen about this? We don't have a whole lot of history, obviously, because things are going so exponential, right? But would normally this time of year be a time where it would be smoky for you?
No, not
Compared to last
till,
year?
no, it really won't start till September. Last year it started in September,
Okay.
October. Yeah.
Wow.
So anyone who wants to come visit this area and see this incredible climate while it lasts, get a hold of me.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're in kind of like the northwestern coast of California, correct?
Yes, really just about 100 miles straight down south from the Oregon border on the coast.
Oh, wow. That sounds really nice, man.
Yeah, it is. It's the best climate on this continent, I think. Because, see, I thought Seattle would be better, would stay cooler longer,
Yeah,
but
me too.
yeah, but the heat dome showed it won't. And I know it could come here too. A heat dome like that could come here anytime now.
Right, right. Yeah, you don't know what's going to pop up on the radar, but it does seem like the places that have been getting hot are are getting recycled and getting hot again, or even hotter, right? And
Yes.
where I live in Georgia, just west of Atlanta, it's kind of been the same here too. Like we haven't had extreme heat. That you can feel the sun is wicked hot. It's powerful. There's no, I don't want to say there's no ozone layer because I don't have the facts on the amount or whatever, but it's definitely deteriorated, right? So you can feel the power of the sun. The heat from the sun is much more relevant,
Yeah.
uh, you know, these days.
Yes. Yeah.
We've had decent rains. I'm seeing too, um, because of these rains. Like, so I grew up in when I was a kid. In summers I would be in Florida, and it would rain. It would pour all of a sudden, just dump a bunch of water. Maybe even only on one side of the street, but the other side would remain dry, and then it would just
Wow.
move out. And I'm seeing that here now. This is totally like in Georgia. I'm seeing complete Florida weather type of storms where there might be a 10% chance of rain that day or an
Mm-hmm.
80% chance of rain, and you might not get either or. But
Mm-hmm.
when you do, you can get subjected to just a flooding, a flash flooding level of rain in one
Mm-hmm.
small area all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's gone. And not even that it moves on, it's literally just gone. It's only that one particular area that gets all that rain. And I'm seeing
Uh-huh.
that worse and worse and worse, but not um but but no flooding here, but close
Uh-huh.
to it. Like we've had such torrential rains that it's almost been a bad flood, but it's never really gotten, out of control.
Yeah,
But
like it just did in Germany.
right.
Man, is that scary.
Yeah. Yeah, Germany and I think maybe Hungary, because I was actually just talking to our friend Joe Black right before this, and
Yeah.
he was giving me a couple of places where it did that,
Uh-huh.
and that's what kind of got me thinking about
Yeah.
that.
I know that's possible here and everywhere too, especially as more and more ice is gone. There'll be more and more freak storms, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Right?
right. Like we saw that derecho. I never knew what a derecho was until
Yeah.
last year when that hit like what Iowa or something in the
Yeah.
Midwest. And it seemed like it was a light switch. Like there was no real, and I think a lot of tornadoes and storms are kind of going that way now, where it just fucking pops up um,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden and does its
Yes.
thing and dissipates. But
Yeah.
only that small area is affected. But that small area is just almost been wiped out clean.
Yeah. Devastated. It's like nature coming up to bat again, and then she goes off.
She's got another game down the road she's got to get to.
Yeah,
You know, you got to
right.
play the field, right? You know,
Yeah, she is.
it's yeah, she's, you know, she's giving us her little at bats.
Yeah.
And you know, which we know we deserve it, right? We fucking
Yes.
put this on, right?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
that
It's yeah, she's not it's like not happening to us. It's just happening as a consequence of what we've done, you know?
oh yeah, yeah.
Like I really don't ever want to feel like a victim of the weather and the climate, because we're not. We set this all up, all along.
That's a really good point. That's a really valid point. And I feel that as well. I totally agree with you, man. Totally agree with
Mhm.
that. You know, I mean, we weren't the ones that were flying around on jet planes and yachts and bombing the planet and everything. But, you know, and you and I weren't voting for that. But so many of the people that we are in our family, our friends, or acquaintances, or coworkers, or whatever, our fellow citizens, all fucking voted for that shit too, right? They just, you know, write down, you know, either one party line, Democratic or Republican, which are all pro war, and you know, all the just horrifying things that humanity is about, right? For capitalism, right?
Mhm.
Uh, it's what a mess, man. What a mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you look well. It looks like you're doing well. Like you said, the weather is nice. So, you know,
Yeah.
there's so many people um that are on the run, right? You know, because their shit's
Mhm.
on fire or there's no food. Um,
Or
Everybody's on the run, right?
mhm. Well, more and more, yeah.
Yeah.
Running
Um,
out of water in some places. Oh my gosh, that's just beginning. This running out of water. Oh my God. Unless we start getting some floods, I think California's quickly going full desert mode, along with the whole southwest.
yeah. Yeah. That's horrible. Um, are you do you guys have water now? Are you
Plenty.
guys okay?
Yes, that's another good part about this whole area, is that there are 6 different rivers come out of the mountains in Humboldt County and drain into the sea. So from all those rivers, we're fine. In fact, we're obligated to sell a whole lot of the nearest river to my house is the Mad River, and then not too much further up is the Klamath River, which is getting famous now for the water wars going on with it. But because of the river so close, we're obligated to sell a lot of water. Goes down south, but I assume they'll always keep enough for us, until they can't.
Yeah.
There's plenty now, though. Yeah.
Wow, that's good, man. That's really good.
Hmm.
That buys you some time, right? You know, and
Yeah, totally. I think it'll last a few years, till the end. Um, Joe, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Indigo. Thank you very much.
Good. Glad to hear it. Look at
Yeah,
you still with us. That's awesome.
it's not as bad as where you are here in Holland.
Oh, it's not bad there? That's good.
No, not that bad. Well, we had a little bit of flooding at the beginning of the week in the south of Holland.
Mhm.
I think the worst part fell in Germany, um,
Yeah.
which you can see approximately everywhere on Facebook at the moment.
Hmm.
But although I already had a discussion with Joey before this live stream, and I already explained to him, when you look just in nature itself, we still have a lot of birds, we still have a lot of insects, bumblebees, everything looks quite normal here. Apart from the fact that it's, a little bit brewing weather. It's not really hot, but it feels damp.
Mhm.
But it's business as usual here.
Awesome. Good. Good.
Speaking of business as usual,
Yeah. Cheers.
what's happening, Joe, man? Fill us in on, on what's going on with you. I know you've been, you've been, basically homeless, right? Or on the verge, and and trying to get back on your feet and trying to make it another day.
Yeah. I'm actually doing pretty good at this moment. I have a room now in a house that I'm renting. So I'm already here for approximately 1.5 months. It's not much, it's just a room, but I can do whatever I want. Still have my own freedom. I also found a job. I already did several jobs since I arrived, but I found now a job that I could do for several years if I would have them. But
That's awesome.
yeah, it's a good job. I enjoy it. I started there last Thursday. And yeah, but I'm doing pretty good at the moment.
That's good, man. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I had to have the same kind of luck, I got my old job back, and it was very stressful before, even though it was the best job I had ever had. But I pushed myself, and as we grew, and I think I was a big part of that because I was there every day answering the phones and doing what I needed to do, keeping the daily operations try to be smooth. And then was wrongfully fired, and I think after a couple of other people they brought in to try to replace me, they realized that nobody could do what I was doing and do as much as I was doing. So now I'm back. I have a little less responsibility, a little to a lot less responsibility, even I would say. Same pay. It's actually more because now I'm not taking out a 401k. I'm not paying for insurance because I
Yeah.
know all that shit's fucking pointless, right? It's useless. So, but thankfully that I had the 401k earlier, because that's mostly what I lived on for the last few months while I was fired, right? So,
Yeah.
that's kind of why I just had to take a step back and to get away from the groups and stuff like that, because I was like, I need to focus on work and race announcing, because now that I've been back to race announcing since I got fired, um, I had to I just got to focus on getting up and getting on time for work, every day, even if it's 7 days. Just put in almost 14 days in a row. Tomorrow and Sunday I'm off. So
That's good.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. It's so much more, even though, being at work is still stressful, obviously, right? But if you're doing something that's just not fucking killing you, you're not digging ditches, you're not hopefully not having to work like fast food at minimum wage or below minimum wage, which is that'll just make you go insane. And
Yeah.
you want to start feeding happy people happy bullets or something, right? It just makes you go crazy. So being able to do something that you can feel comfortable with and not so stressed out about, that's really awesome, man. I'm glad
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Well, that was basically my first job that I had when I arrived back in Holland. I was sent to a how you say a big company that handles vegetables. So all I had to do was either put the plastic, I say the plastic balls. I had to put them on a conveyor belt and do that for 8 hours straight. That job was really mind killing. It was literally boring as hell. And the first thing that went through my mind was like, why is this job not automated? I mean, after 30 years of working, this they could have come up with something better than this, but they didn't. And the last day, because I worked there, I think maybe 1.5 weeks, and well, literally, I had the same experience as the guy in Office Space. Every single day, next day was worse than the day before.
Right. Yes.
So eventually, the last day, I had a very bad team leader or supervisor or whatever his role was, and I was literally shouting and screaming at the guy. So
I left a job like that too, man. It's fucking so good to just get it out and say fuck it.
yeah,
Right?
well, no, I didn't say fuck it or anything, but it was his way of explaining something very simple to me. And because nobody explained that something very simple to me, I didn't know. And he thought it was a very good reason to rub it in to me, like, this is very simple, are you stupid, and blah blah blah. So I started screaming like thank you very much for explaining it to me now. So I only had 1 hour left on the clock. I finished that 1 hour, and the first thing I did was go back to the job agency. I said, like, I'm not going back there ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was done. That was also the time that they started to come up with the new job that I started last Thursday. Unfortunately, they didn't know exactly when to start there. Lots of blah blah, bureaucracy. It takes a lot of time before everything starts to roll.
Yeah.
But I needed to have something, some kind of a job that at least I knew that money was coming in, because as long as that crazy religion is ruling my life, I better find a way to get it some way. And stealing and robbing is not really my thing, so better do it legit. Unfortunately, the job agency itself couldn't help me with that. So, because every time that I said, like, okay, put me on the job there then, because that's very simple work, I can do that. It's only 2 weeks. Put me there. Yeah, but they're going to work you in for an entire week, so that's going to cost them too much, and well, more bureaucracy.
Yeah.
So I went out into the town here, and I walked into a restaurant, and I said, like, can you help? Can you use somebody who can do the dishes here? Yeah, sure, but you should write an email to the office. I said, okay, I'll do that. I came home, wrote an email, and the guy was, or the person on the other side of the mail was like, okay, so when can you start? I said, tonight. Oh, okay. Well, let's do that. So that same evening, I was, being worked in, and I spent there until last Saturday, because I wanted the Sunday to have a day off, because I noticed that doing the dishes in this restaurant, it was really killing my feet. I really came home with pain in my feet, and I came home around 12. And then I had to wait about 3 hours until my feet were calmed down again, and then I could fall asleep. And I was like, well, if I'm going to go to work on Sunday, then I'll probably be broke if I'm going to have an entire training that day. So, but unfortunately, I didn't start on Monday, but I started on Thursday. So I had 3 days again off. From one point of view, I say like, yeah, that's okay. You know, I enjoyed those 3 days, but from the other side, it's like, yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
still
you
missing.
need money.
Yeah, and that's, you know, because the restaurant is going to pay me at the end of the month or probably at the beginning of the month. So that money is not here right now. And, you know, all the money that I earned from that vegetable company, I already spent it on food and on fuel to get to my new job. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a problem right now. I hope that these 6 hours of training that I had this week, that they will be paid on Wednesday. Then I will have at least some cash to buy more food for myself. And then the week after that, I will have a full week's pay and most of my problems have been solved. Then I can focus on other things that bother me at this moment. But I have a room over my head. Money is coming in. Might be a little bit slow, but yeah, for the moment, everything looks fine.
That's awesome, man. That's good to hear that you're,
Between
kind
quotes.
of the rebound, right?
Hmm?
It's good that, it's like you're on the kind of the financial rebound, you've,
Yeah.
you found some footing, but the footing isn't really there yet. You got to wait for the footing to kick in.
Yeah.
That there's so much talk here in this country, and it's probably rampant all over in every country at this point. And that there's nobody at the fast food places. They're all understaffed. All these jobs are understaffed because people can't afford. If you pay people shit, they can't afford a car that they need to get to fucking work, right? And people they can't fucking comprehend that. So they're just like, people are lazy and they're living off the government. Well, look, I've paid into taxes my entire fucking life. I've paid into Social Security. I'll never see any of that. And I've never gotten 3 times alone last year, I qualified for unemployment benefits. I've been paying into that shit since I was 15. I'm almost 50. And
Yeah.
I've never received a fucking penny
No,
for unemployment.
no, but you live in the divided states of America, so that counts.
Yeah, it's oh God, fucking, it's next week's title is going to be Happy Bullets for Happy People, because just exactly for that reason, like just the fucking moronic ways that people will believe what their media is telling them, and that people are just lazy and leeching off the government. That's why they're not working, and that's why you can't get your Wendy's hamburger, in a decent amount of time, with the right amount of ketchup on it or not. And it's just like, fucking what a bunch of fucking privileged assholes to think like that and really fucking believe in what they're saying, and that people are
Yeah.
just lazy and they're leeching off the government. Yeah, fuck if they should, do something with our fucking tax money that we pay in.
Yeah.
Idiots.
I remember last year, I think it was probably around April, May, June or something, when the coronavirus was really kicking in. And the people in the United States were going out on the streets like, we want jobs.
We want to make $5 an hour. We'll settle.
Yeah. And then
Fucking
these
idiots.
jobs come, and then it's like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that job. So now we're going to be picky. And this is one of those things also that I find very amusing about people is how they delude themselves, because you don't want a job. That's ridiculous. You do not want to wake up every morning, go to place to meet people that you rather not see, and spend there 8 hours a day. for 5 days a week.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Okay, I know there are some people who have jobs that they enjoy.
That's always been kind of sick to me.
No, no. I had a friend that was working on a train, and he drove the train, and he really loved it. And I could literally ask him, if you would not get paid for your work, would you still do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he really loves his job. So there are people who really love their job, but that is a very small percentage
Right.
of people.
He would definitely fall into that category, but yeah, that's a very small percentage. And I can't imagine driving a train being. I'd rather go ride a dirt bike or something. I mean, that would be.
If you came to his house, then if you went to his attic, he had this entire model train track run over his. So he loved trains.
Those guys are very special. I've known a couple of them. They're
So-
very fucking special.
But from the other side, people don't want jobs. The thing that people want is money.
Yeah.
And even that is not what people really want. If you're really going to look at what people want, it is the primary necessities of life.
That money pays for. So that's
Well, money has become the primary necessity of life. This
Right.
is part of the delusion.
yeah,
But
yeah, we're just money making zombies, right?
yeah, people really want just, food, clothes, and a house.
Right.
That's
Yep.
all person needs to fully live his life. But because
Comfort.
to get this, you need money. And to get money, well, the most legitimate way to get money is go to work. And this is the part where the delusion kicks in. Because there are so many things you need to be able to survive. And it has been normalized throughout all our lives. Most people defend this point of view.
Yeah, like it's natural. Like somehow, it's just a natural part.
We're the only animal on the planet that uses this strategy to survive. And even that is incorrect.
That is insane. That's the dumbest shit. And I wouldn't believe it if I wasn't here to see it, right? I would
No.
just be like, no, you're crazy. It can't work like that. It's too stupid. How would people really think something is so fake is real? Well, we see that. So holy shit, that's
And you literally mentioned it correctly. It is insane.
yeah, it's just dumb. It completely defies all laws of logistics, of reality, of nature, of fucking, I don't know if I said reality, I'm gonna say it again. It just defies everything. I guess that's why we live in this opposite, like we live in opposite world, right? Like everything that is completely ridiculous is true, like religion, and it's in God's hands. God wanted Trump to be president, but he wasn't good enough to swing the last election. So we gotta override God and override God to get God's candidate back in office. Stupid. I can't believe we fucking exist amongst these morons. Fucking walk around and like fucking robots, totally believing this bullshit.
I'm the guy I'm currently living with. He's from Morocco. He's further. He's okay. I have very little problems with him. But he has a friend who also passes by. Also a very nice guy. Also from Morocco. But his friend is very heavily into the Islam. And eventually he tried to,
Sorry.
because I told him, I'm driving around with a big bottle of vodka, and the only thing I need now is, a big joint, and I'm ready to go. And he was shocked by it. He's like, you should not kill yourself, because in every religion, every God says that that's bad. Okay, this might be bad, but
you have to let the God kill you. When the God kills you, then it's you die with dignity, right?
Yeah, then it's okay. But he really started trying to convince me about that God exists and Islam is good, and he saw me laughing, and he thought that I understood exactly what he was talking about. It was like, whatever you wish to believe, I'm happy for you, but realize yourself that there is a big difference between believing and knowing. And as long as you cannot prove to me that there is really a God, I'm not going to follow you.
It's amazing how simple that is, yet it's so, if we say something like that, if we ask that question, we're just told that we're crazy.
Yeah.
Why would you even question? You have to faith. You have to just trust your faith. You have to believe.
Yeah.
Fuck, why am I weird? Because I want to believe in something that's real that I can see and touch.
Yeah, but that is not believing.
Right.
Because if you can see it, if you can touch it, if you can smell it, if you can use your senses on something, then it is not believing anymore, because it is real.
I want to go outside and take a piss on a tree and wind up pissing on God and go, oh fuck, God, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. I didn't mean to piss on you. Please forgive me. I don't think that'll ever happen. I'm pretty sure of it.
There's this one video on YouTube, and I like this video very much. It's made by a professor named John Hachlin. I hope I pronounce his name good. And he made a video on consciousness. And in this video, it's approximately 10 minutes long. And in this video, he explains something called, I'm not really sure what the name was. I can look it up, but I can't.
If you think about it, post a link in the comments after the show.
I will.
And that'd be cool. I'd like to check that out.
He's very much into quantum physics and quantum mechanics, and he was explaining about, if you're going to zoom in from the macroscopic, our current reality, to the microscopic, to the atomic, to the subatomic, and then you just keep zooming in, then eventually, if you've passed all the atoms and the neutrons and the protons and all this kind of things, eventually you will come to a very small dot. And this little dot, this little cell, this little bubble contains everything. It contains gravity, it contains magnetism, it contains radioactivity. Literally everything is in there. And from this small particle, our reality is being created. So we there the atoms come into place, and the protons, and everything is created from that. That, for me, was the best description I've ever heard of God.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make it some mystical figure on a cloud. I'm just going to see what says the Bible about it. Well, God created us in his image. Okay, we're all part of atoms, protons, neutrons, everything. So if everything comes from that small particle, then that must be God. There's nothing religious about that. It's not deciding how I want to live or how I should live. It's just pure physics. And this 10-minute clip explained to me better what God is than the entire Bible or the entire Quran could ever do. And I will post that link.
Awesome. Cool.
Yep.
What's Indigo doing? Are you I see your name on the screen. Are you what's going on? Thanks for coming back.
I'm listening, but I'm busy doing a task. So
Oh, okay.
which is making a cup of coffee so I can keep going all day. So sorry I left this noise on. Now,
feel free to jump in anytime, Indigo. I didn't want you to feel left out since you were with us, so I just wanted to give you a shout out. You're muted now, so you muted yourself.
Oh, sorry. Soon, like in 5 minutes, I gotta leave, so I'm just listening now.
Right on. Well, thank you for joining us. It's always good to see you.
Sure. Yeah. You guys too. I wish there's more people on.
Yeah. Funny thing is, truth that about you, Indigo. When I saw your name, I thought you were a guy.
Why? Oh, because it ends in O.
I don't know. I see so many names, and I thought Indigo was a male name. So
in the Spanish language, it would be, because they never ever end a female name in O. It's always in A. So it'd be Indica if to be a woman. Yeah, like Ignacio, they always end.
The color is, it ends with an O.
So that's it.
Well, it's good to see your face with the name now.
Thank you.
So where are you at again? Because I missed that.
Me? Where am I at?
Yes.
Far northern coastal California.
Okay. I don't think California is the best place to be right now.
It doesn't matter. I am in a microclimate that is buffered and immune from all the rest of California.
Okay.
It's just so ocean bound. It's going to be the last, I guess it's going to be the last place to get hot. Actually, I would bet $100 this will be one of the last places to be consistently overheated in the whole United States. I'm confident of that because I've lived here 20 years in this microclimate, and there's no other like it in America now. There used to be, well, for part of the time, all of coastal Oregon is really cold too, just like here. But with these heat domes, now they can, they got Seattle. So I know it could come down here, but hopefully it'll be a short little stint like that, a few days, and then bam, back to 55 damp degrees. That is the climate here on average year round. 50 damp, cold degrees. So I love it.
All right.
That's cool, man. And I had read that Georgia, along with Florida, would be one of the worst places to be. Yeah. And Florida hasn't gotten too much, other than the hurricanes, then they're going to get beat. But they haven't had a week, they haven't seen 120, 130 degrees like I would have thought. And in Georgia, we haven't seen 100. We've seen some 90s. We've seen some heat and humidity, but nothing that's really, really wet bulb. The rest, and like you were saying, Seattle, who would have thought? Who would have thought,
Yeah.
that's insane. And you know, obviously being the planet's all connected, it's going to happen. But if we can, you know, if we're living in a place that's you know, that might last, you know, a little bit longer, and that we're not on fire, we've got water, you know, that's huge.
Yeah, really.
You know, and we also see, like I was talking about earlier too, I think we see that rise our property value because everybody's on the run. The shit is happening. People are having to flee their homes, places they grew up, homes that they even own, and you just have to walk away, and that's devastating, right? That's fucking heartbreaking. We're you know, the refugee crisis, you know, and Guy's been obviously pointing that out for years, but nobody else is really talking about that. Well, now we're seeing it in this country, and you know, in first world countries, right? So that's a no, people didn't think that would happen for another 100 years, you know, which we all knew that was that's sooner than that. Faster than expected, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, always.
Man, what's going on, Billy? Good to see you. Good to see you again, man. How's everything? Bottoms up.
No bad, Joey and Joe and Indigo. Just last time I seen Joe in one of your videos. He was heading for a tree full of vodka. That was last time I've come across Joe before. And that's the first probably one I've watched of your videos, Joey. Actually, it was you and Joe talking, and Joe was explaining what he was going to be doing to see the end out there. And I'm happy to see you're still here, Joe, because I was thinking at the time, I thought, too early, mate. It's too early. You got to watch the show unfold. you got to watch this show unfold, mate. Yeah. Are you on that frame of mind yourself, Joe, now?
Yeah, well, the plan still stands. I'm just going to wait until everything collapses now.
You've got the option, Joe. You've always got the option here. You can do it anytime you want.
Yeah,
but you got to watch the show. You got to watch the show, mate.
I'm enjoying it every day now.
Nice one, Joe. I'm happy for that because I was worried about you. I thought, guys, this guy's got to do it, and I never heard any headlines from Joey or nothing, so I thought that obviously he never went through with that. You think in April was it? You said you were going to do it. Was it April or May or something?
Yeah.
You give the deadline for.
I'm pretty certain that if Joey was not there or my nephew was there, I probably would have done it.
Aye, good. Well, it's great that you're still here to watch the show. We're all watching this insane show play out. I was right now in Scotland. We're getting really intense heat. We're getting some nice sunshine, which is the Scottish people wonder what this big yellow thing in the sky is. You know, over in Scotland, we're not used to it. But,
going on the internet and finding on Google, what's that big yellow thing in the sky?
Yeah.
That's the sun?
Aye. It's burning our skins red. You know, it's strange.
Probably a spaceship.
We've been, but I tell you, it's strange, and people have been saying this. The heat intensifies into the evening. You know, the sun is hot. I mean, what you said earlier on, Joey, about the ozone maybe not being what it was, and you couldn't really go into it more because you don't know much about it, neither do I. But see, now this sun seems to be intense just now in Scotland and the UK, and we've got really a dry spell coming for days and days and days ahead, I see.
Yeah. The UVC reading, you know, the satellites and the telemetry that reads UVC, Guy points out, has been turned off. I forget how many years now, but they've turned off the UVC readings to our information for a very long time. and that's obviously alarming. And here we are, multi years into that. We know that there's a ozone hole over the Arctic, and that's part of it. That's just one of many feedback loops that are warming that's why the Arctic is one of the many reasons why the Arctic is warming 2 to 3 times faster than the rest of the planet, which is obviously alarming because we're all connected, right? It's all part of the same ball. So if that's going to shit, that just tells us we're going to shit too, right? So
I was a video came on YouTube recently, and it was the one I shared with people about 5 years ago when I first found out about the situation we're in. And it was a guy getting interviewed by the radio show guy in New Zealand. I think Kevin and Pauline were in the back.
oh yeah, that's a great
behind the
interview, man.
curtains. But that's the second time that guy's interviewed guy. And he poo-pooed. I think I wrote a comment on Facebook about this. He laughed it off, and his co-host laughed it off. This, I wonder if all these guys that have interviewed Guy, all these people that have interviewed Guy over the years, and laughed in his face and said, "Oh, you're a doomsayer. This will never happen." I wonder if I wrote what I wrote was, once you hear something, you can't unhear it, right? Once you've been told the message, yeah, it's in your head all the time, eh?
Yeah.
So one of these people now that have interviewed him and and heard his message, now they're seeing extremes that they're thinking, oh, hey, maybe that guy was right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say there? And it's,
yeah. Oh yeah. And they also backpedal. They also go, backwards. Paul, I forget what his last name was, from the New Zealand morning television interview
Yes.
that you saw. He got it, you could tell by the questions he was asking and his, how he was interacting with Guy. You could tell that he got it. And so that made the conversation really, really powerful and really good. And obviously that's why, like, the next day he said, I'm retiring, and I'm, I see what's coming. And but at the same time, you got, people like Tom Portman, who, he's not a dumb guy. Tom Hartman is not a dumb guy.
No.
So he knows, and he's interviewed Guy at least a couple of times that I know of. And there's some really good recordings of the interviews with him, conversations with a great mind. It's a great interview. And you can tell even he gets it. But now, because of where we're at, he's interviewing Michael Mann. He's saying that Guy made all these projections or predictions that never came true. And I'm yelling at the fucking computer going, it's not 2026 yet, motherfucker. Nothing.
Hartman has been.
Yeah.
I first came across him on RT. He was he not on RT?
It was that interview was when he was with RT. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was with RT. See, if you want to be part of the gang, right, and get income from being on a commercial TV show, or when he's downgraded now into his own TV show or through the computer, you've got to go along with the narrative, haven't you? You've got to be part of the gang and go along with the narrative to keep the income coming in. It's like the university people and the professors, and we've talked about this last week, Joey. Their income and their pensions and their kids' schooling money is all linked into their earning money, and they can't upset the apple cart because their income will freeze. They'll get sin-died. They'll get chucked out the club, and they won't be able to feed their kids. So they live a lie to survive. It's, I don't know. Please, Mr. Black, explain it, please. You're the man with the head. Go for it. What am I trying to say there?
Yeah, the funny thing is, you put it actually quite well. People are trying to survive. And I had this conversation with somebody else also, and I think it's a shame that people do not live. They are literally trying to survive.
Mhm.
And they're doing this by, going to a job, earning money, and repeating this over and over and over again until they are 65, 70 years old. And then when they are completely used up, they're going to enjoy life. Then they're going to live.
Stupid, isn't it? It's stupid.
It's insane.
It's insane.
This is one of those things that I learned also on Facebook. Probably not the best place to learn something, but the definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different
The same
results.
yeah. That's
It's what our entire economy is based on. Because are we
Yes.
doing anything else than we did 40 years ago? Let me check. Yeah,
Doing
no.
more and faster and harder and with more people and taking more from the planet, right? It's just
I was on the
that's
phone.
another
I was
feedback loop in itself, right?
Yeah,
I was on the phone. I was on the phone to a friend of mine earlier, right? And we're talking about other things, and I said I try to enlighten him a wee bit on about climate change stuff and what's happening. He said, Billy, in 1976, I ran about for 5 weeks when he was the same age as me. I'm 50. I'm 54. In 1976, we had a really hot summer, and he said I ran about with no shirt on for bloody 4 weeks, and it was great. Was that climate change then? I says, well, I don't know, but in 1976, the world population was probably half what it is now, right? I don't know what it was in 1976, but a lot more mouths to feed now. When crops start failing in certain parts of the world, we've got double the population now to think about feeding, and
The disaster.
well, it's as I said before last week, Joey. We just need one of these wildfires to catch a corner of a city, and the wind's going the wrong way. And look what happened in Germany 3 days ago. Nobody would have dreamt that, would they? This time last week, would they now, Joe? You're nearer Germany than me, but nobody would have dreamt that would have happened this time last week when we were talking last week, Joey.
Yeah.
If I was to say to you, hey, a flash flood might wipe out half of Germany next week, you'd just laughed at me.
Yeah.
Look what happened.
Only 2 weeks ago, an entire village in Canada
Wiped out.
Yeah.
Entire village in Canada and what? Germany too? Is that right? You were talking about earlier, Joe? Was it Germany?
Germany, yeah. Also here in Holland, not as bad as in Germany, but yes, South Limburg. A lot of people had to flee their houses. They still don't live there at this moment because it's all flooded.
In the media today in Scotland, I listen to the radio when I'm working. I'm a gardener, Joe, and I wear ear defenders that with built-in radio. So I just working my machinery. I listen to the radio all day, and they're on about people in Germany. First of all, the German Chancellor has allegedly said, we need to do more about climate change. We need to do more about climate change. The German Chancellor said that today. We need to up our game.
Earlier this evening, I posted a picture of a car to Joey, and this car was heavily flooded. It was until the back window that it was flooded with water, and just above the waterline, you could see a sticker. Fuck you, Greta.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Greta didn't even have to be there she didn't have to be there to give that another sticker, right? Hilarious. The only thing it would have been even better if it was instead of a Greta. It would be even more ironic if it was a guy sticker, because Greta doesn't, she doesn't really go all the way. She doesn't really tell people.
She thinks it can be fixed. She thinks things can be changed.
Yeah, she's a very hopey.
Well,
I'm going for another beer. Give me a second.
Oh yeah.
The big difference between Guy and Greta is that Greta is a little bit more mainstream. She's really bringing climate change under attention, of course, with the hopeful message that we should change now, because now we can still turn things around. And Guy is not really somebody he's doing his best, but he's not really that well known in the world. And also, most people just run away from his message.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, it can't be that bad. He's just got to be wrong. He's wrong because it makes me feel better.
Yeah, I also want to smoke what he smokes. We had a conversation a little time ago on Nature Best Last. It was about the heat waves in the western part of America, specifically in Canada, where it was 50 degrees Celsius. And then there was this article here in Holland where they described this heat in Canada, and could it ever be so hot here in Holland? So the article said, like, no, it's never going to be 50 degrees Celsius here in Holland, because in Canada they have mountains, so the heat bulbs they stay there, and so it will stay longer, and that's when the temperatures go up. And here in Holland we don't have mountains, so it's constantly blowing away from us. And then I also made a joke on Nature Best Last, or Guy's Friends, I believe Guy's Friends it was, that Holland is completely safe from climate change, because it's never going to be 50 degrees Celsius here. I put it as a sarcasm thingy or a joke thingy, because there is no safe place on Earth for climate change. And even though it may not become 50 degrees Celsius here in Holland, the thing that I'm taking in consideration is that we are surrounded by water. We even have a big puddle of water in the middle of our country. And if it's really going to get hot here in Holland, and hot, I mean, it's going to be about 30 or 40 degrees Celsius. We have so much water around us and in the middle of our country that's going to vaporize. So we're in the hot seat probably for wet bulb temperatures. So we don't need 50 degrees Celsius to make it unlivable here in Holland.
It's Holland is probably in the same trajectory as I am here in Scotland.
Yep.
Probably
England.
the same. As in Canada, where they're getting the heat waves, the same on the same kind of trajectory, as in the, what do you call it again? Those gradients of longitude or latitude. I don't know what it is. So Scotland and Holland will be similar, I would say, Joe. I mean, but Holland is very low lying. Holland has been reconstituted land. It's been reconstituted. It's been dug out of the sea.
Yeah, we built our entire country on a swamp. So what can possibly go wrong?
It's like Florida. Shit, that's like sinkholes and shit.
Yeah, we're perfectly protected by England and Scotland and Ireland. If there's a tornado coming, then they catch the blow and we're safe.
I love Florida because there's alligators. Alligators are fucking rad. They're the coolest thing. Man,
We've only got
I-
red squirrels. That's our big. We've not got anything like that. We have red squirrels and
if you have an
pine
accidental
pine
baby, you can
martens.
just feed your alligator. Feed it to your alligator.
We killed all us northern Europeans killed all the predators fucking centuries ago. We killed all the wolves and bears and things that were going to eat our sheep.
I know, man.
We destroyed it. Then we've just. I mean, I went on it last week, Joey, and I don't know if you know much about it, Joe. Before the Industrial Revolution, we deforested. Northern Europe was heavily forested, and we ripped all that down before we went to the New Worlds and done it the same over there. That was before even the first steam engine was fired up. We started the demise of mankind, really. The kings and queens and lords and lairds wanted their land cultivated and drained and deforested. That was the start of it.
Yeah, in Holland we have very little problems with forest fires. Yeah.
Very limited chance.
Yeah.
That's a really good problem not to have. as the rest of the world is, most of the rest of the world is burning.
It's all flat here. It's primarily grass. We have some forests. We have some nature areas which can get very dry in summer, and yeah, if they catch fire, that will be some sort of disaster also on a local scale. But really, like in what is it, California or so, where the forest fires really are burning bright, or Siberia, it's never going to happen in Holland. It's impossible to happen in Holland on that scale.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Kevin Hesser pointed this out recently on a show that the Siberia wildfires in Siberia burned all winter long. I did not know that. That's like he said. It's hard to wrap your head around that.
Once these fires, Joey, once they get into the peat. I mean, I've come across this when I used to work in a forestry. We used to burn the branches and things. Once the fire gets into the peat, it burns away. It smolders away in the peat land. You know, the peat just keeps burning away.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good point. Billy, can you kind of elaborate on peat, what that is and why?
Peat is full of methane. Peat is decomposed trees from millennia ago. And
okay, right. Yeah,
peat is
okay.
Peat is what they're big. You have come across it in Europe as well, probably, Joe. These big areas of decomposed for millennia, decomposed trees, any fauna gets decomposed and it goes into the ground, and we dig it up now and use it as fertilizer and sell it in bags for growing tomatoes. But it's just another way of releasing methane into the world. They're trying to stop it, but they can't stop it. Humans are addicted to their fucking their plants.
Yeah, I think that trying to stop it is just a show.
Trying, a lot of trying happening.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You know, because there's no technology. We don't have the technology to stop it. But if we write about it in the media,
Joey,
you know,
Joey, I told you last week, and Joe will agree with me. Well, the bottom line is, right? The bottom basic line is, we're probably, and this is the basic, and I told you I like to deal in facts. We're probably 6.5, 7 billion humans over the carrying capacity for planet Earth.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
that's the bottom. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Joe, how do you think that, Joe? Joey?
America alone, I think, requires 7 Earths for what we consume in a year. Is that? And I think I'm
just 7.
Back a few years, so it's probably more now, right? That's insane. We're depleting the planet. This one little country over here over here in the West. It's one little country that
Yeah.
everybody thinks is way bigger on the map than it really is, because it's not even as big as Africa.
Joey, if America needs 7 planets, how many does China need?
Oh yeah, all the way across the board, we need like at least 20.
Spare planets?
I was gonna say 27, maybe 2,700. Maybe if we had 2,700, we could get to 100.
Hey, and I don't know. People think I'm crazy laughing. I've got to laugh at this shit. Eh? I've
Yeah,
got
you
to laugh
have
at this
to,
shit.
right? I mean, if you don't laugh, then you'll go insane, or at least I will, because I have to just, and that's why I love to talk to you guys about this, and we can kind of, bounce, facts and thoughts and no prayers, thankfully, off each
Which-
other, and
which-
and have
Can
a,
I, can I talk to Joe? Joe, what's your thoughts? I've never seen Joe for a while. Since the last time I saw him on these things was when he was talking to you, Joey, about his bike trip into
to the wall.
the next world. But can I ask you, Joe, what your thoughts are on coronavirus?
My thoughts on the coronavirus. I think it's real. No doubt about it that there is a virus going on around the world, that it is highly infectious. I just don't see the necessity to, make such a big fuss about it, because it's not very lethal. It kills, but the normal flu also kills, and that doesn't is no concern to shut down the entire economy and make sure that everybody is going to get injected as soon as possible. So I think it's overhyped, and the biggest joke about it all is I see our governments all over the world. I see them struggling and balancing between opening up the economy and making sure that the virus is, minimized. So, yeah, coronavirus. I think it's real. I don't really do the vaccination. I just don't trust it.
Likewise.
Yeah,
I'd rather take on the virus. I'd rather take the illness on rather than the virus, the injection.
yeah. I had this conversation once with a person who was coming to my door to beg. This guy with the this buses. Can you drop money in there for the cancer fund? And I asked this woman, like, how long does the cancer fund already exist? Oh, since 1940. So you're telling me that the cancer fund already exists 80 years. You're continuously collecting money and you still don't have a cure?
That's brilliant. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And now suddenly there is a virus that escaped approximately 2 years ago, and within a year they found several cures.
It's not. There's people dying now in UK who have had 2 vaccinations.
Yeah.
It's proven that the vaccinations are not working. They say they might reduce your chances. It might reduce the effects of the illness. But the people have had 2 jags who are now perishing from this illness.
Well, this is the part that is not sinking in with me. How can you be so sure that it is the infection or the injection that it reduces, or the chance that you get it, or that the symptoms are going to get reduced? Because if I hear several, the company I'm going to work now, the entire company, maybe 10 people that work at this company, and this is a big company, but that entire company everybody on this office got the coronavirus.
Wow.
And most of them still survived. They didn't have to go to a hospital. And what gives me the guarantee that if these people were all injected, would they still not have the coronavirus? And would they still have the coronavirus in the same degree or a lesser degree? It is not proven. It's a fantasy. At least in my opinion, there's probably a very scientific and detailed description on how it's really going to cure us. But from the other side, I'm thinking like, you know, if everybody is going to be injected, why should I be injected? They are already protected.
Mhm.
So if they are protected, I am protected as well.
Mhm. It's, I mean, the fact that they bring in emergency powers, right, on like a wartime type powers to inject people with this experimental vaccine, to me, a lot of it smells not right for me. I mean,
You're right.
I'm a great man of I eat well, mostly vegetarian diet. My immune system is good. I would think is good. I drink too much beer, but I also work hard and I'm in the sunlight quite a lot, and I get a lot of vitamin D.
Yeah.
I'm quite willing to get my antibodies the old-fashioned way by getting the illness. People call me silly for that and stupid. I've had a many argument and people, you know, but the people have been brainwashed by the TV. I've got, you know, they think they're scared. You know, the media is scared them into staying in the house. And I've got customers. I'm a self-employed gardener. I've got old people I work for. They've hardly been over their door for a year and a half.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
you know.
the media. I don't watch television at all. Since 2001, I don't trust the television anymore. I do check out the newspaper from time to time, and I have this website from a Dutch newspaper, and they show very little articles. But for me, it's the most reasonable site to check out for news in Holland. And one of those things that actually shines through heavily on this news site, but basically on every other news site as well. When the coronavirus was climbing up, there was basically every day, and still basically every day, there was news about the coronavirus, about how many people died, how many people were infected, and how many people went to the hospital, and how serious the situation was. And people started to notice this as well when they couldn't go to work anymore, and when the offices closed and that they should work from home, and the restaurants closed and the hotels closed. And so people start to, you know, oh my God, it's really that bad. And so there you have it, the belief that it is really a serious thing has already been planted. And don't get me wrong, I do think it is something serious, just not as serious as that media is trying to make us believe that it is.
It is a bad flu. It's a bad flu. It is a bad flu that's going about.
Yeah, but
it's 99 point something people survive it. You know.
Yeah, and if I'm going to look, for example, like last week, this week, there was a crime reporter here in Holland, and he got shot in Amsterdam.
He heard he died. He passed away. Heard
yes.
That.
So that was 3 days after he got shot, and this entire week, that's the
media.
News.
Media.
That's the news. So people are focused on that one thing.
A lot of distractions, Joe.
Yeah,
it's all distractions. There's no real news outlet that's really going to tell you what is really going on in the world. People hardly know that the ice in the Arctic is almost completely melted down. That the
No.
chance it may happen in August.
If
that
not
we
next
have-
year.
Hmm?
If not next year.
If very likely. My bet is it might very well happen this year, but people don't know this.
I know.
They really
Yeah,
have
even
no
the Scripps paper says that next year the chance of Arctic ice being in the Arctic is basically zero, practically zero. That's, you know, and that's a very conservative scientific, you know, right?
Yeah.
See, trying to explain this to people, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we all know it. We all
Yeah.
know it, and but trying to tell a layman on the street that
Yeah.
I like opened up. I told you when
They
I
just
was
think,
very,
oh, it's
like
just
I
gonna
told you
get
last.
warmer up there. So what?
I told you last week, Joey, that I was very. I was before I got involved in the Fukushima situation. I tried to promote. That's why I joined Facebook, to try wise people up to about the Fukushima and the big cover up there after
Yeah,
the tsunamis,
that's
which is the
horrible.
biggest big cover up as well. Before
Mm.
that, I was looking into the banking system and the whole fucking crazy frauds going on there. Then Kevin Hester enlightened me through. I met Kevin Hester through the Fukushima situation. Then Kevin enlightened me onto the work of Guy McPherson. So I tried to show people I was involved with at the time. I said, look at the people that knew that Fukushima was hemorrhaging out radiation at a rate of knots. It was insane, right? And
Yeah.
people, and before that, people I knew, the banking people I was the banking system was total corrupt, and the fractional, the whole system was a fraud.
Always happens.
I tried to show them Guy's work about what's coming ahead and the Arctic ice melting, and they couldn't. Oh, Billy, you're crazy. People I thought were rational, who could believe certain things,
Yeah.
could not get their head around about the big thing, the one thing that is really the only thing you should be worrying about. Can you know what I'm trying to say there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. People cannot, and even so, like, well, when I talked to one of the last conversations with my mom, I said, Mom, I'm not really worried about, you know, about the future. The ice is melting, and I thought we were going to have BOE last year, and we didn't, so we narrowly avoided that. But this year is looking pretty good too. And my mom said, well, what are you going to do when the ice melts and nothing happens? I'm like, how the fuck do you what do you say back to your mother? But my mom is a super fucking you know, narcissist. So, you know, like, even when she was sitting in our car in the driveway back in 2016 or so, and saying, Joey, you really need to vote for Donald Trump. I said, well, Mom, I'm not really concerned with voting. I'm more concerned with the planet and the environment. And this is before I found Guy's information. So I didn't know, I knew the science was there somewhere, but I didn't know anybody that could bring it forth so that I could bring it forth, you know, to really prove that what I see is not fucking kooky. And she just said, oh, that's 100 years. That's another generation. I was like, well, so, and thankfully, my fucking wife spoke up and said, well, I have grandchildren. I worry about their future, because I knew better not to have kids. And so Tammy spoke up. My wife spoke up and said, well, and, you know, and that shut her down. She didn't say another fucking word, but we're still wrong. We're still wrong. Everything's fine. When the ice melts, nothing's going to happen. It's such fucking horseshit that people just
They
continue on.
they don't know, they don't know the science, right? And even me, I don't know the science, right? But I know between the cold and the equator, that equilibrium between the two of them, the jet streams have just worked nicely between those two different things. And when one weakens, it's not fucking rocket science to know that things are going to get a bit chaotic, aren't they?
Right, yeah. Yep. There's people who are saying that humans existed on Earth without ice in the Arctic before. There are people that really fucking believe that, and they're posting on Arctic News or whatever. Go ahead and leave all that shit, because it's fucking having to like sift through idiocracy is not my forte.
Life's too short for that, mate.
Yeah,
Life's
right.
too short for that.
Yeah.
I didn't get in fights now. I don't get involved.
There are also people who think that the Earth is flat.
It's not.
Fuck. I know. Hey,
All the other planets around, but Earth is special. Earth is special. It's a plate.
No. Seriously, if you're going to look at the moon, you only see one side of the moon, so it must be flat.
Oh, right. Yeah, there is that argument too. Yeah. And even if you know, in a space shuttle, you look back at Earth, it's just a plate. It's like a plate of food. You know, you got stuff over here. If you want to eat that, save it for later. You got the main course over here. There's land and lots of food. Or the sea, you know, you sift it out, use a net, you know, but it's just a plate.
No, but the space shuttle is also a hoax. The space shuttle is all made in a special studio somewhere underwater, where it looks like the people are floating, and you know these camera images, they're either made by a fishbowl lens or computer generated. So it's all big joke. The Earth is flat.
And in Australia doesn't even exist, right? That's like
No.
hey,
why hasn't a comic? I can't believe there hasn't been a comic that like wrote out all that shit and made like a whole fucking. You could do a fucking 30-minute Comedy Central special on just flat Earth and Australia doesn't exist. Right?
You have a special YouTube channel called Simon Dan, where it basically does that. He's got shows of about 15 minutes every Friday. He posts.
Oh, my competition.
Yeah, every Friday he posts a flat Earth video, and then he just picks one flat earther that is so convinced, and he has this perfect theory that proves that the Earth is flat, and then Simon then is like, nope. That doesn't work like that.
So we have to challenge ourselves at Collapsing with Casey to get on that show and pretend to be a flat earther, and then just fucking once the conversation goes, just unleash. Like that would be.
I was working for a chap, an old guy. I was doing his garden for him. He's in hospital. And the house was empty, and people come to visit him. And here it was Jehovah's Witnesses. Do you know about them at all? Jehovah's Witnesses? Do you ever get them when you're right?
What did you see?
It's one of the God sects. I don't know, one of these God-fearing people. So I like to talk to them. I like to have a wee. I invite them in.
That's awesome. Fuck yeah.
Anyway, I was talking to them. I was talking to him. I said, the chap David's in hospital now. But what are you wanting him for? Oh, we usually come here. He was a soft touch. He was a victim for them. I said, oh, you're Jehovah's Witnesses. I said, I didn't really believe in this God carry on. I don't really get it. Oh, how can you not believe in God? God exists and that. Then they tried to say, how they're trying to make it real with me. They asked me, do you believe Australia exists? I says, yes. Have you ever been there? No. Well, how do you know it exists? I thought, for fuck's sake. I thought, what are we dealing with here? What about, I thought, these fuckers are crazy. And
they are. You can use the same arguments against them.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Because
I know.
They say, "Do
show me God? Show me God." That's what I started with. That's why they come back with that one. I started with "Show Me God, show me what it is." That's how they came back with the Australia one. Do you know Australia?
I think that climate change is going to be a real heavy bummer for all those flat earthers. They think that the entire South Pole is just a big barrier that is shielding us from the edge. And when that is melted, then they have to come up with a new theory.
So the water will pour off, and that's why we're in a drought. So when Antarctica melts, all the water pours off the edge and falls into space.
But you remember the flat Earth was quite, in early sailing days, flat Earth was quite a thing for the sailors, I'm going back 500 years. They thought the edge of the world was real, eh?
That was probably like the Bermuda Triangle was probably the edge. You're like, oh no, stay away from the Bermuda Triangle, you fall off.
Well, the funniest story that I know about the flat earthers is that they all rented a big cruise ship. I'm not really sure if they truly did that cruise, but they all rented a big cruise ship, and they wanted to sail to the South Pole and prove the edge was there. And the captain of the ship said, like, yeah, okay, sure, you know what, if they're going to pay, I'll sail them everywhere, but I'm not going to use their navigation skills because my equipment is based on a globe Earth.
Aye. And how did it take that then? Did they accept that?
I really don't. Like I said, I'm not really sure that they really managed to get all the money to rent an entire cruise ship. Also, I heard that because of the coronavirus, cruise ships are being melted down in numbers because nobody goes on a cruise ship nowadays.
The value of scrap just now, scrap metal is really up in price.
Yeah,
it's really shot through the roof.
I think Israel or some Arabic country is where all these ships are going now.
To be scrapped.
Yep.
Melted down.
So, well, luckily at the edge of extinction, there's still profit to be made.
Only flat Earth remains.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a stupid fucking world is this that we live in.
Yeah.
And to know what's going on, and we have to deal with these fucking morons, being surrounded by these fucking morons who think that celebrities are important and going to spaces.
Have you ever heard of Terry Pratchett?
Yeah, Terry Pratchett. Discworld. Discworld. Have you read them, Joe?
The biggest joke is that he knows how to write his stories so that it almost reflects our current reality. It is based in a fantasy.
Yes, it's a parody on reality.
One of those, I've seen a movie of them, and I'm not really sure which one it was because he made several. And the story is it plays down on a flat Earth, so to mention. It's a big disc, so that's why the name Discworld. That disc is standing on the back of 4 elephants, and these 4 elephants are standing on the back of a big turtle. That turtle with the elephants and the Discworld is floating through space. And eventually,
this is brilliant.
It is. And the fun part is that there were scientists that were sitting on the edge of the Discworld, and they made an elevator, and they lowered down to check if that really was true. And they saw. I'm really not done yet. The good part is still coming. So they lowered this elevator down, and they really saw that it was standing on the back of these 4 elephants, and they saw the big turtle. So the scientists were then standing there, and there was like, there's only one big question left. What's that? What is the sex of the turtle?
What was
What
no,
is the sex of the turtle?
That was a big question. That was the.
That was a big question.
Hey, a friend of mine is really into those books, and he's shared them with me. I've got some here. I've only read one of his, and but the parody on reality, he really he takes it to the limits, Pratchett's work. He's the mirroring of this disc world and the real world, and he does a good job with him,
Yeah.
I should really read some of his, but it's just not my style,
I really love his stories.
yeah, when you can find the humor and that kind of stuff, and it can kind of drive you to keep on reading, right? Because you just, if it's something that you're just laughing, like keeps you laughing, it doesn't matter how dumb and how uninformative or wrong it is.
I'm not a sci-fi reader, Joe. I like to read. Well, I like a good story, to get engrossed in, but I don't go down the sci-fi road when I'm reading books. I don't know. You, Joe, are you a reader of books, Joe?
No, I really don't like to read. My attention span to read a book is approximately 1 page. And then I flip the page and then it was like, what was I reading again?
No.
So it's not really working. But I have also a lot of fun in audiobooks, for example. One of those audiobooks I heard was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is also a very good story with lots of humor.
Well, I'm listening on Radio 4 now in the UK, the story about Elon Musk, right? And Elon Musk was a big fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and he's based his kind of it's pretty crazy. He's based his kind of his life on this kind of he loved that story in that book.
Oh well, then he must know that the Earth is going to be destroyed.
Well, that's why he's got enough. He made enough money to go to Mars, or thinks he can think that all he wants.
What about Richard?
She started.
What about Richard Branson kidding on he went to space? Richard Branson went on his fancy airplane, and he went quite high. He wasn't in space. Come on now. But the media portray it as that, though. The BBC News, Richard Branson, was in space.
Yeah, it makes it. And
the billions he spent to go quite high in the sky could have done a lot of good elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, the narrative though is that we can colonize space. So that's why that was the big story, to keep people, because people really do believe, and that's the narrative, that anybody that actually is fearful, if they have like a little bit of fear that the planet might die in their lifetime, well, we can go to space. And so that's their kind of that's their like backup plan. It's like religion. You can pork it all in there with the maybe we can go to space.
We found a spare planet in the back end of the galaxy. We're just keeping it hiding away there now, but it's just like Earth. It's just the same as Earth. We can get everybody there before 2100, and it'll be okay.
Bring your own oxygen.
Bring your own beer.
It's like it's totally insane, but because people have just literally lacked questioning anything. Like I want to just yell at people that watch Fox News and go, how many times can if I lied to somebody one time, I'd get called out for it. How does a fucking entire network and a whole system continue to lie to a populace?
Why did they do that?
Fucking hard for me to wrap my head around.
Is it right? You got right. You got either right. They've been bought, blackmailed, or compromised some way, or
I
just
know.
think the whole they've got to keep the paycheck coming
Yeah,
for the
I
security of
know.
it.
You know, it starts with, you know, we shit out kids and we throw them into public school, so that now they're indoctrinated, you know, and we think that they're learning. So if you're even a good parent, you're going to make sure that your kid's getting good grades, right? But that kid isn't learning anything. It's being indoctrinated into this fucking system that, and people, I saw that from the get-go, and nobody else sees it that way. And they just go, no, you just have a kid, and you know, yeah, you both parents can go to work now because of school, and the school raises the kid, and they have no problem with that. They see nothing wrong with just shitting out your kids, just
What's the red
throwing them
What's
to
the
the government.
what's the Native
Government will take
American
care of it.
proverb, Joey? What's the Native American proverb? It takes a whole village to educate a child,
Yes, yes.
right?
And in that, it would be a village that really does care about their own, instead of like teaching it to, like, you know, hey, when you get to 11th, 12th grade, you're gonna have to make these decisions. We're gonna bring in these cool, really army recruiters, and they're gonna teach you, like, you make a lot of money if you want to go kill people. If you don't have anything else better to do, you know, that's something to do, right? It's fucking
things taught, Joey. Things not taught at school. How to grow food. How to. A lot of things are not taught. They should be taught. How to
yeah.
do. You know, growing food is one of the basic things. Why?
I was the first, in my school, I was the first generation, the first grade that no longer learned driver's ed. Driver's ed was the year before me.
What's
And
that?
it
Sorry,
was
Joey.
my next year in school was to learn driver's ed, but
What
that
is,
year
what
was
is that though? What is that?
driver's education, to teach kids how to drive because parents are
Oh.
too busy. And literally mine were. My parents didn't even teach me how to drive, even though I rode, you know, motorcycles and stuff. They didn't have the time for it. They didn't have the energy for me, and so they had a friend of ours teach me how to drive, who was another racer. He was a motorcycle racer, and he also raced cars too. So that was really cool. Like, he was actually a really good driving instructor for me. But the fact that my parents had to pass it off. He was a family friend. We all ate dinner tonight, you know, in the evenings all the time. He was a really good family friend. It was just, the whole process was so fucked up. And to not even just my case, but driver's ed being taken out of schools, you know, like you were talking about the importance of growing food. Growing food is so, even probably 10, 20 years before my time in school, that even when I was in school, they were like, yeah, driver's ed, we don't need to do that anymore. That's too much. That's expensive, and there's insurance, and people might have an accident. And we don't want to, you know, we wash our hands from that. So my first year of being able to take driver's ed was not on the books anymore. Gone. That's insane. That is, you know, and I mean, we all know too, like, when when the school lunches have the nutritional value has just shot down exponentially every year. I remember, I think it was Reagan. Reagan was in power, and they had to sell ketchup as a vegetable. You know, if we sell ketchup as a vegetable, the school lunches are still meet our nutritional needs and values for our children that we love. The children. Huh?
Joey, next time you go to your doctor's, right? Next time you go and see a doctor.
My doctor fired me. I don't have a doctor.
Well, I don't have a doctor, right? But if you get another one, right? If there's time, ask them, how many months did you learn about nutrition? And they'll probably tell you 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's actually funny. You say that
It's
because
no
that's
funny.
one
It's
of the-
fucking serious.
yeah, no. I had that same talk with my doctor, and I said, you know, I can't afford all the because I have stage 3 kidney disease. I said I can't afford all these visits and checkups. I can't afford that. I can do like even my 1-year annual physical that's supposed to be free wasn't. It was very expensive. And as he was doing each test, I said, I can't afford this test. It's got to be part of my annual physical. He said, it is. It is. I make it part of your annual physical and it's paid for. It never was. And also, I was telling him, I was like, I've done enough research that if I eat these foods and I do this right, I can maintain and I can, you know, feel okay enough to walk. And he said, "Oh no, you can't do
No,
that.
you can't do it. No,
That's
no.
not gonna work. That's not going to work at all."
You take the pills. Keep
And I
taking the
told-
medication.
Yeah, exactly. I need medication, and I need to
They
do
don't
all
want
these
you.
tests, all these special, you know, things. And I said, I can't afford that. And I even had insurance too. It's healthcare in this country is such a fucking joke. It's so sick, so fucked up. And I'm telling him this, and I was like, I can just, you know, I stay away from these foods and I eat healthier and eat less, and I really don't. I mean, I'm way beyond that, but I know enough to maintain and not have to go. And so he fired me. He fired me because I'm like, I can't do all these tests, and this is what I do, and it helps. And I do need when I have a flare up because I get gout. When you have kidney disease, you get gout flare ups. It was like a really bad um, arthritis, and it can be so bad that it's like you just broke a bone, whether it's in a toe, an ankle, whatever. It can be in any bone in any joint or multiple. It feels like you just broke that bone because in a bad flare up, it'll throb, and you can't even if you just work on a phone or a computer and you answer phones, you can't even work because the pain is so bad. It's literally like you just broke a bone. So you can't even focus on simple, you know, punching in numbers or typing or whatever. And all you need is some very simple uh, pills that you can get freely anywhere else, you know, in the first world, like anywhere in Europe. It's colchicine and a little bit of prednisone, a little bit of colchicine, and that's really all you need. And you just need one of each. And at worst, I've had to take 2 over the course of 6 or 12 hours because it didn't go away enough to feel comfortable. And it's not even an everyday thing. It's like maybe a couple times a week, maybe once a month or every couple of months you have a flare up. You just don't know and how bad flare up is going to be. They will fucking keep you on. They want to get me on allopurinol, and you got to take that every day. I tried allopurinol, it made me worse. I was like, I don't want to take your pills every day. That's more expensive. And if it makes me feel worse, then no. And
Joey, then what you're trying to say is they keep you on. It's a gravy train for them.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they've got incentives from these drug companies. See,
Yeah.
it happens here in UK as well.
that's what's cool. Is my
We've got
pharmacist.
free medical.
Really, my pharmacist is really cool, and he's helped me out before. And that when I was between jobs or I was, you know, down on my money, he would actually help me. And so I always go to him, and he even told me, he just like what you're saying, Billy, he just like what you're saying. He said your doctor wasn't making enough money off of you that you couldn't afford to make your appointments. And even though I wasn't making the appointments and canceling, I wouldn't make them at all. Just be honest. I'm absolutely honest. I can't afford it. Therefore, I can't make that appointment. So it wasn't even like I was fucking him over, but because he wasn't making enough money off of me. And that's what my pharmacist even said. And I was like, man, thank you for saying that, because that's exactly what I felt.
It's good to hear from an honest person who's still part of the system, but he just is telling it as it is. I don't know what it's like in Holland, Joe, the health service. Or Germany? Were you German? Are you German born?
No, I'm Dutch. I'm Dutch.
Dutch, you're Dutch.
Um,
Sorry.
Let's say it's also expensive, but it is better arranged than in America. In Holland, if you want an insurance, health insurance, you pay, let's take it roughly between 100 and 150 euros a month. And if you would go to a dentist, for example, probably the first time you will have to pay from your own pocket, and then the next appointments, they will be free. They will be paid by the insurance company.
That's fine.
So it's still very expensive, and I know now because I've traveled for about 2 years. I also went to a dentist somewhere along the road. I went to one in Poland and I went to one in Hungary. And it was just, I didn't have pain or anything. I just, because I smoke and my teeth were starting to become very brown. And that's when I said, like, okay, I'm going to the mouth hygienist, clean it up, fix it. And I had to pay maybe 40 euros or something. And if I'm going to do that here in Holland, I have to pay at least 200 euros. And then the first maybe 300 to 500 euros I have to pay from my own pocket. And then after that, the insurance company is going to kick in. So yeah, it's still a very expensive. I remember here in Holland that there was a time when I had to pay for my health insurance, let's say about 40 euros a month. So that's 100 euros less than I have to pay right now. And with that insurance, I was, well, this may sound funny, but I was insured. And then I could go to a doctor, and if there was a problem, then it was get fixed. If I needed medicines, I get my medicines, and it came all from this insurance. And nowadays, everything is stripped. But this is, the sign of the times. I know that when I was just a little kid, I was born in 1972. And if I think back about the 1980s, when I was in my teen years, my dad was working, my mom was at home, she made sandwiches, she cleaned the house, and basically the standard picture of how people think about how a family should be.
How it used to be like. It used to be like that.
And we could manage. It was easy, My dad had a car, we had a garage, we had a house, we had a garden, we had everything.
Did your dad grow crop? Did dad grow food? Did he grow
I'm
food in the garden? Did your dad grow food in the garden? Did he grow his own food?
Later he had a greenhouse. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it was possible. And if I'm going to look right now outside to how people live, mom needs a job, dad needs a job, the kids need to go to some daycare school. And
that's wrong.
Even then, it's, maybe you can manage, but maybe you should probably take another job in the weekend to also get along.
Or get more debt. Get yourself more into debt.
Yeah. It's not that dramatic yet in Holland, but I see it's going there. Everything, and this is something that I've already said for a very long time, everything that happens in America blows over to Europe.
Mm.
So
totally agree.
Like, was it you or Mark that said when we have a cold, you have a cough? 2 weeks later, you get a cough, right?
Yeah,
no, it's something like that, isn't it? It's
it's
when the America sneezes,
the
America, UK, usually the UK catches the cold or catches the
we're
flu.
the dominating power, the empire or whatever. So whenever something goes wrong here, it's all connected, right? So
Mhm.
everyone else feels a backlash of whatever.
Yeah, but
Uh,
literally, I mean, the student debt in America, which is going through the roof. It was not only a month ago that they were talking here, like, yeah, well, maybe we should cancel that because it's not really working. So I'm glad that the politicians use their brains a little bit more here in Holland. But I also remember that in America there was some religious politician that was screaming, "We should all believe in God," and blah blah. And only 1 week later, here in Holland, there was some religious politician popping up like, "Yeah, we should have more Christian churches." It. We really follow America.
we do,
Yeah,
and we talked last week, Joey, and about God and about Jesus and that. You said how Jesus and Santa Claus having a fight, see who wins. Yeah, but I talk a bit fast, Joe. Sorry, if you can't pick up what I say at times. But one
no,
thing,
you're
reflecting on what we
good
said
on
last
it.
week, Joey, I was thinking on the Iraq War, George Bush Jr. said, "God told me to do it.
Yeah,
God told me to invade Iraq." What kind of bullshit excuse is that?
that's disgusting. I know, man. When I announced, this is what's really hard for.
I'm going for a whiskey, guys, right? I'm about to say.
Oh fuck yeah, dude. We're gonna finish the bottle tonight. We're gonna close the bar. Um, announcing races, I'll just go through and I try to call out the sponsors of the riders, especially if they're winning or top five, I try to call them out and I'll start reading off and there'll be a fucking sponsored by Jesus or mom and dad. The mom and dad thing is dumb enough, but I'll say it, because it is legit. Mom and dad fucking paid for that kid to race, right? Bought the bike, bought the trailer and the whole fucking canopy and the vehicles, the bike, and the gear and all that, obviously. But sponsored by Jesus, what the fuck is that shit? How the fuck do I just hey, in third place we got fucking he's sponsored by. I just shut down. I won't even fucking read that shit. I already got to do I got to introduce the prayer for before opening ceremony or during opening ceremonies. I got to introduce the fucking prayer and the fucking flag pledge, the national anthem, and I'm just standing there like a fucking dumbass with my thumb on my butt, going, "This is fucking. I'm not participating, but I want to be a dick. I don't want to look like a dick, so I just don't know what the fuck to do. It's stupid." And I'm not even allowed to fucking feel that way because, well, everybody believes in God. What's wrong with you?
Well, not everybody believes in God.
I know. I'm the only one in my state.
But
It's so frustrating, man. It's like it's just living in a fucking world where I don't know. I don't know. Randy Tebow said something really funny that I really liked. And I'm going to steal that. Said it's like I'm from the future and I'm coming here to tell you this is all a lie. This is all bullshit. And this is what's really happening. And this is where you're going to be in a few days or whatever. Because I'm from the future. I already saw it happen. It's almost like that. Like we are so, we're so fucking easily, people, not us, but people are so easily manipulated into fucking stupid shit. Like we talk about money, the value of money. Money has no fucking value.
no,
The planet, life on the planet has value, but we fucking bomb that shit. You fucking put some depleted uranium on that, and we'll get the oil, and fucking all's good, right? What a
You can
fucking shit show.
you can have this fun experiment with people if they start talking about money. Just ask them, can you tell me what money is based on? What the
Yeah,
value
yeah.
of money is based on? And most of them will still say it's gold.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They
They have
will.
absolutely no clue.
Yeah. How much gold can you put in a sandwich?
Yeah.
I haven't tried, but I'm just thinking not much. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How strong are you that you can still lift that sandwich?
It's
But
totally insane. Like, and why is it that we're the only ones that see how ridiculous all that shit is? Like, there's a commercial of this guy comes on. He's in a suit and tie. You know, he's got his own investment company. You know, he's a lot of people are buying, investing on crypto. You know what? Crypto's really not, it was good in the beginning. Everything goes good in the beginning, but then it tops out, and crypto's not really based on anything now, is it? Now, if you invest with us, and I was just fucking yelling at my phone because I was just playing a game, and the commercial came up on my game, and I was like, I'm just fucking yelling at it. I'm like, money is not fucking based on anything either, you fuck. But
yeah,
he didn't hear me, so it didn't work.
yeah, waste of energy.
If you can't, on about crypto and about things, if you can't hold it in your hand, it's not of value.
Oh yeah.
If you can't hold the thing in your hand, if
about my credit card?
it's in the ether, it's out of your control.
Yeah.
If you can't control it through your physical means, don't gamble on it.
Yeah. And even just like, like gold, like Joe and I were talking about, gold, and that, well, yeah, if you think money's based on gold too, then let's try to put some on a sandwich and see where that goes,
Well, it's better having a few gold sovereigns as having a fucking trillion ether fucking bitcoins. The gold might pull you out of shit in short term. The bitcoins, when the power cut comes, the bitcoins are disappeared.
I keep a 20 in my wallet just because when collapse happens and I'm at the store and I'm like, man, I want to buy this. This is the last thing. And they go, well, we can't sell it to you because our credit card machine is down. I can go, here's $20. This is real money.
And
Joey, if I can say it with a straight face, they go, here's $20. Here's real money. And I have this milk or, bread or whatever. And, and walk out. Then there is that possibility, right? Like you said, with Bitcoin, crypto, you couldn't hand them your, well, you couldn't even pull up your account because the internet would be down. That's why you're using
Joey, I like to pay with cash, right? I like the old ways. Call me old fashioned. I like the I like to do. I like to barter. I like to barter. I like even older ways than cash. I like to exchange goods for services and vice versa. I live in a wee village. I stay in a small village here, right, in Scotland. We've got different skills. We can barter. If it comes to the crunch, when the power goes down, internet goes down, we'll maybe get by an extra few days through barter.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the health system. I've had to go and get a whiskey there, sorry, and have a toilet break. But in the UK, we've got free health care. Do you know that, Joe? Do you know how the UK system works? We pay in. We pay. It's called national insurance. We pay. It's a pittance. We pay as part of our wages. We pay taxes. We also pay this national insurance. But there's that many people now unemployed and low incomes, and people avoiding paying it. It's not really paying. we went in the American way, Joey, right? You say we always follow America.
Oh yeah.
The only way we can keep our welfare state looking like it's solvent and our
Yep.
healthcare looking like it's solvent, we just print money out of thin air.
America is the Joneses, and everybody's got to keep up with the Joneses. That's the whole, that's
it.
the empire thing.
We just print money out of thin air like Americans and the European central banks copy. Every central bank in the world is printing money out of thin air at the moment. They're just adding digits to a screen to keep the facade of solvency alive for the population to believe. People watch the mainstream news. People that say, right, America is the wealthiest nation in the world. UK is the 5th wealthiest nation in the world. No, we're fucking banana republics. We're bankrupt. We just keep printing money to make us all look good. Is that not a fact?
Yeah. No, and Joe was talking about that earlier too, and how, what is it? We, in the United States alone, we printed in 2000, printed more money than all of history in this country.
Yes.
In 1 year, added together in 1 year.
That's why I'll go back, Joey and Joe, to the fact I've heard people say, right, that this virus came at a very fortuitous time for the bankers, because they was going to implode again. Well, in 2007, it imploded, right? What did the bankers and the banksters do? Lower interest rates to negative and print the tools that had the toolbox in, they've exhausted, right? So now it was weakening again. It was going to fall to bits 2 years ago, the whole financial system again.
Mm-hmm.
And then this mysterious flu virus came out of the blue, and they had to shut down the whole money velocity and shut down everything and print money to keep things going. For me, it's too coincidental.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that, Joey. A lot of coincidence.
That's a really good point. Yeah, it's a really good point, Billy. I would like to add that. So, I hate to commend somebody that has turned against us, but Naomi Klein's book, Disaster Capitalism, was a really good book. I didn't read it, but just the title alone says it all. But she has also turned that kind of journalism into profiting for herself, and she is no longer a voice of the people. She's been bought out in a total piece of shit now, which is sad. But yet, her book Disaster Capitalism is exactly a perfect term of what you just described, right? And even those people are that told us that was happening, and obviously it's not going to get better.
They're milking it as well.
They'll every and I do really appreciate how Guy puts it, and that they don't necessarily create these. I mean, obviously they create the wars and they create any kind of a virus like that. They don't want to kill us all, because we need the aerosol mask, in fact. But they know how to make money, and when there's a disaster, that's the bottom. And they've got decades of experience, and that's all they do. That's people think that everything that the government's just a big fuck up. No, they're actually really good at what they do. The problem is it's really fucking horrible and awful what they do and get away with. But people think that, because of lack of communication, they're working it out. No, it's a system that is designed to make money on disaster. Whether it's man-made or not, it doesn't matter. The rich will always get richer and the poor will always get poorer. I mean, I forget who said that. but there's nothing more truth.
Well, this virus thing and the whole lockdown and shutdown is wiping out the middle class, you know, and it's been happening anyway before this chaos with the virus, but it's going to be the extreme wealthy and the extreme poor. There's got to be no middle class, you know. It's
Oh yeah, and it's already been that way for since even before the NAFTA, get back in the 90s and the early 90s. There was already, that just made it legal to have child slavery in other countries. NAFTA just made it legal. It was already happening, and it been happening, right?
What Joey? And Joe, can I ask you where you are now, Joe? Before I continue on, what I was going to say. Are you in the garden now? Are you outside?
Yeah, I am.
Good. Is it nice and warm?
That's about 14 degrees outside, I think. But I can smoke here.
Aye. What it is, and I said to you last week, Joey, right? If we know facts, right, that the governments are not telling us the truth about. I go back to the banking system, then I go back to Fukushima, then I go to climate change. Things I've learned over the last 15 years that I know are fact, that our governments and our media outlets are not telling us about. Then you've got problems, eh? They're not telling the population about things, eh? So
that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it is, Joe.
You can look up.
For us, it's obvious. For us, it's obvious. But for the layman who's listening to the BBC News or whatever the news is in America, the Fox News or the Dutch News, whatever it is over there, they're sucked into that news outlet and they believe everything they hear. So what chance have they got?
We have none.
Yeah, you have to have critical think. You have to think for yourself and have and be able to. And that's the thing about the age of the internet. Like people should have a lot of questions, right? They should have a load of questions.
Joey, they've got everything at their fingertips to research.
Oh yeah.
It's all there for them to look at.
Yeah.
But you choose to watch the screen.
Yeah. No, exactly. And and going back to like media and brainwashing, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of ICM Partners. The first time I ever met Guy and Pauline, Guy mentioned ICM Partners. I don't remember what it was we were talking about, but basically all politicians and all entertainers, comics, movie stars, everything come from ICM Partners. And if you look, it's a college, group or whatever. It's its own college, and you have to be part of that in order to get big roles. In order to, if you're going to become, if they're going to let you be famous, and they're going to promote,
you got to be in the club. You got to be in the club.
Yeah.
And if you go against it, you get
you can still be a Woody Harrelson. You can still be a Woody Harrelson and be like, hey man, freedom, smoke pot.
On the edge. But if you go against it,
that's the far left. That's as far left as you can go. Ride that line, and you'll have your fan base, and you'll make a lot of money, and you'll make us a lot of money. And that's why the real truth never goes beyond, let's legalize pot, man. We can tax too, and the government.
They've all been compromised, or bought, or frightened. That's the bottom line for me, eh?
Yeah.
They
got to sell the wars. They got to
go along with the show and get the gravy, get the money, or go against it and be ostracized.
Yep.
Or worse, be suicided. You don't know what happened for.
Like Martin Luther King.
JFK blown away. JFK blown away. What more did I need to say?
JFK. Martin Luther King was found. His murder was found in a court of law that the FBI was responsible, and yet almost nobody knows that. Almost nobody knows that. Even people that think that like racism is getting better,
Even
you know, we're figuring
Hey.
it out or whatever. No, almost nobody knows that Martin Luther King's murder was
Hey.
found in a court of law in its own United States as guilty for his murder. That's totally insane.
Hey, when you know that who the guy was that meant to kill JFK, you know, Harvey,
Oswald.
what was his name?
Oswald.
Oswald, right? He was a setup. He was a patsy all day long.
Oh yeah.
You go from that right to the Twin Towers thing we talked about last week.
Oh, I
Joey.
was gonna say yeah. Yep.
Yeah, hey, I mean, if you can fool the public one time, you can fool them a million times, and we're fooling them insanely.
Now more people. You just got more people waving flags. No, that encourages more people to wave flags and
We'll go,
no,
Joey.
what a fucking
I'll
insane.
go back to an earlier thing I said. We're fucking 7 billion overpopulated.
Wait, sorry, 7 billion.
7 billion humans overpopulated. The carrying capacity for planet Earth. We've got 7 billion too many flag wavers.
Yeah.
God,
7 billion too many flag wavers. That's
the 500 the 0.5 of a billion or million. How many is in the planet?
Yeah, I think it would take 7 planets, 7 more Earths just to make enough flags for America. What a fucking shit show.
Joey. We're diverse a wee bit tonight, have we not? Is it not a bad thing? To diverse of the climate chaos talk, we've diversed a wee bit into other genres of chaos.
Yeah.
But it's all part of the same shit show, eh?
You know, I think being able to talk about it and like just balance the absurdity of it all off of each other and have these kind of talks, I think is cool.
I mean, I can't talk to other people about this. You know, they think I'm a crazy man, and they think I'm in that case. You know, when I talk to people about general stuff I talked tonight about, you know, is that I'm letting off steam tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that the problem in our current society is that we have all been grown up with false values and false priorities. Our false priorities are we should, you know, pay a lot of attention to which politicians we are going to choose. False priorities are that we should go to work to earn money and keep that economy flowing. The false values is the money itself, of course. A question to you, Billy. Do you know what the value of money is based on?
Well, it used to be gold prior to 1971, but now it's based on fuck knows what, mate. I don't know.
The value of money is based on the amount of money in circulation.
Well, that's diluted. That's been diluted, fucking turbocharged in the last year and a half.
Yes. So with the money printing scheme that is going on right now, and of course last year to keep the economy flowing, the inflation has risen through the roof.
Oh, we see it now. We see it. You do see it over there. We see things up in price going. Timber, cement, petrol, metal. Everything's going through the roof, eh? And we see it visibly now. I can see it, and I see. I got my heating oil, and I thought I'm going to buy it. And I use kerosene for my boiler for my heating the house. I thought I'm going to get it in before winter because it's going to go. I think it's going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
Price wise, I see it. Inflation is kicking in.
Yeah, and this is
going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
And the reason is because they started printing money like there's no tomorrow.
I know. I knew it would come.
Basically true.
You knew it would come. I knew it would come, but people they don't. They never. They think the governments are printing money because they're trying to save us from a virus, and give money to people that are not able to work through a virus. It's a big. It's been orchestrated. Orchestrated. I think it's been orchestrated by the central bankers of the world, but I could be wrong.
Central bankers are the worst criminals in the world.
Oh, totally. They run the show.
Yes.
I would love to go to New York City when the jumpers jump on Wall Street.
There were no jumpers.
I would fucking barbecue. I'd be a cannibal. I wouldn't eat them, but I'd be serving. You know, I'd be the guy that brought the grill, and I'd figure out how to cook human flesh and be like, here, hungry people.
The day, Joey,
fiber.
Joey, the days of jumpers are gone, right? They're all in the big fucking scam. They know now they can print money forever. There's no jumping out of buildings anymore. They've took over, eh? The bankers have took over. They're running the show now.
No, they're not that clever, but they do run the show.
No, they don't know the climate situation. I've always said, right? I've always said, even before I knew about the climate stuff, and before I knew about Fukushima, I always said I would love a natural disaster, a solar flare, something they can't control to fuck them up, you know. But then I found out about nuclear fucking plants dotted around the world. Then I thought, well, that's that job fucked. If there's a natural disaster that wipes out.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. We're going to be jumping off the buildings, you know, a few days after them. We'll be climbing up into their offices and, you know, and then jumping. But at least for the initial celebration.
No, but you know what I'm saying, Joe? You know what I'm saying, Joe? I was wishing for something that was out with their control to hit the planet. So that, because they control everything. They control the fucking whole show, eh? They've the empire, right? It started off East India Company. You know these mob. You're the Dutch guy, Joe. You know the Dutch East India Company and the English East India Company. They went around the world and destroyed people, and the British and the Dutch military backed them up. You know, these guys, for wealth, they destroyed civilizations. They destroyed, you know.
They're still doing it.
Oh, they still are, yeah. But
to the very end, until there's no two people that
these guys
to fight, there will be fighting.
These guys like East India Company. I call them East India Company guys, right? Of the English side, they still live. They walk in halls of power now in the UK, and they still vote, and they still control things, eh?
Yep.
And but they went around. What did I say last week, Joey? Us Europeans went around the world and destroyed it in the last 500 years.
Yeah. We, being a fellow European in America, I'm constantly confronted that I've got to worry about these illegal aliens. But I try to
illegal aliens, Joey. You're one of them, Paul.
I try to point out, and I'm always wrong, but I try to point out like those illegal aliens are actually native and we're not. But that doesn't bode well with
history. American history has been written all wrong, eh?
Yeah.
What did you learn at school, Joey? What did you learn at school, Joey? Did they tell you about the Indians being the good guys or the bad guys?
Yeah, cowboys
and school.
Indians.
I'm with the Indians, but I learned, Joe. I learned at school. I learned it in the playground at school. Indians were the bad guys, and the cowboys were the good guys.
Yeah,
that's what we were taught at school. We brainwashed that, and through the media, through Hollywood, we were told the cowboys were the good guys and Indians were the baddies. Did you get that, Joe? That's what we were brainwashed through the TV.
Yeah. I think America is a real piece of work considering history, because America has the shortest history of every continent on the world,
Mhm.
and it starts with a genocide.
Mhm.
Yep. And we have never learned from that. We've only masked it time and time again. So we mask it so that our history is completely wrong. It's told by the rich, that the rich are the the saviors, while we know that we brought Africans over to America and then renamed them African Americans if they were nice to us. While we raped them, the founding fathers raped them at like at child age, to bear their own children to make more slaves, and also hotter younger girls.
Yeah.
Is fucked up, right?
Pretty sick, eh?
Like
Pretty
that,
sick.
you can't get more fucked up than that. And then if you really look at society, we haven't grown from that. We haven't moved on from that very much, if any at all. And case in point, cops in this country were created to keep slaves on their owner's land. So that's why, when I was a kid, if you were a drunk driver and you were white, cop would help you home.
On your way, son. Aye.
But if you're black and you so much as ever thought about having a beer, and you're off your property of your slave master, that was the purpose of cops, was to keep black people rounded up, on their slave land from running away. That's slavery. That's literally a definition of slavery. Yet we're taught and told, and not only told, but we're demanded that we worship cops, we worship the police and the law. You respect the law. And every time somebody is like a pro cop, I go, hey man, when was the last time you were driving on the road and a cop was riding your ass and you felt good about it, like he's here to protect me? And you can't fucking find that, but it doesn't matter. Lose the argument every time, because what are you gonna do when you can't call the police? Call a crackhead? Well, fuck, man. Once you've called the police, you've already been robbed. Everything's already happened. They're just there to do paperwork, and they're gonna lose it. And if you give them anything, they're gonna fucking take it and go, oh, man, this dude gave me a knife. That dude gave me a gun. Fuck, that
Joey,
guy
I had this.
that guy had crack. We got fucking dude. Party at Kevin's. Kevin's the fucking cool cop. He gets all the cool shit. Hey, we're going to his house Friday night.
Joey, well, I've visions into kind of American cop culture, but
It's
we'll go on a bit. I'll talk
ridiculous
about.
here.
I'll talk about America as being right. We've got a genocide happen. We've had genocide in America, right? What, 500 years ago, 600 years ago, right? Ongoing until now. The Indians are drunken reservations, and they'll try and get rid of them eventually. But we've got a genocide happening right now, right? And it started post World War II, right? A bunch of people arrived in a country in the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
Right? And down, it's a British thing. It's a Balfour Declaration of Balfour. It's called the Balfour Declaration, which happened well before that. The land of Israel could be reinstated in Palestine, right? Okay, so we've got some World War II people coming from Germany who were persecuted and got a real bad deal in Germany. They get to this land, a wee bit of land in Palestine, right? But thanks to America, the Palestinians are now got a wee bit of land left, and the invaders have got the lot of it. How do you feel about that, Joey? Can you do you know what I'm on about there?
Honestly, I think I feel like I'm at a baseball game. I'm just like seeing the same ball fly up and go, oh, is anybody gonna get it? Sorry, but
No, the American, these guys, right? These guys back the state of Israel.
oh
And
yeah,
you throw money at Israel. You throw money at Israel. Your
Yeah.
taxpayers' money
we
goes to
pay
Israel
for like
to genocide a nation. What I'm trying to say is, you tax money, Joey. You pay taxes to your government.
right.
Genocide Palestine. The Palestinians. Is that acceptable for you, Joey? Could you accept that?
Oh, I know. So, we have no health care in this country, but yet the tax money that we pay goes to pay for the health care for Israelis. This is fucking. I just want to fucking beat my head in. It's
Aye.
you know, and
Aye.
and people here, my fellow citizens that are so fucking dumb and retarded and backwards, will say, well, you just need a better job. You know, you need to do this and you need that. It's not their, you don't put that on their bill. It's not their choice. It's not their responsibility to pay for your hospital bill.
Oh, it's fucked up, isn't it?
Because it's all what people are told is so wrong and they don't even question it. That's why, like, we haven't had a minimum wage increase in decades, and yet people will argue for the rich. They argue for the rich here and blame the poor because that's what we're told.
When's the pitchfork
Is
sale?
the
When's the
problem.
pitchfork and burn the torches
Nobody
sale?
questions it. But we're good people because we watch American Idol and The Masked Singer and things like that, and there's feel good. You know, this is like American Idol. This is the church choir or a little child musician who's really cute and really good with cards and
A good backstory. A good backstory helps, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, the backstory it's the feel good. Yeah. That's the fucking feel good. And so everybody is in, like, it puts everybody in that feel good. So America, man, fuck yeah, America, fuck yeah. We have empathy. And then it's after the show, it's right back to, F those inners and F those illegals and it's, oh man, what a fuck show of, because there is the facade of, we're a good country, we're trying to do right. You watch the news and morning news and Good Morning America and all that horse shit, and it just sells you on, like, ooh,
Joey, what happened, Joey?
God bless America.
Joey, what happened if that? Right, that facade is in a lot of people's heads, right? The majority of Americans, right?
Yeah.
They can't let that fold. Even their own heads can't let that fucking fold. They can't let it go, eh? They've got to have someone to hang on to. They don't know, eh? It's insane how it's.
You guys have to have, know obviously more than most American people, or almost every American person, about Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany is a perfect example of, like, don't fucking ever do that. But America has, Operation Paperclip, right? Operation Paperclip. We were like, oh, you guys fucking got it going on. You didn't, but we gotta continue this shit because this is capitalism, and this is gonna grow our economy, and the rich are gonna get richer, the poor are gonna get fucked, and and that's how America became new Germany. you know, the next empire, and only throughout the whole process of that, you have to have racism. It doesn't work without racism. That's like a purity form of divide, conquer. You know, these people, because they're this color, they're not full people, right? They're like a percentage of a person, not a whole person. And that's really fucked up. You know, that would be like comparing, like, I have a boa constrictor and a python, and going, well, that snake is less of a snake than that snake because this snake is, that snake makes more money. And snakes don't make money. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about there, but like none of it makes sense at all, is my point. And
it's
that
all about divide and conquer.
you can't say that, like, this species is worth more or more important, or, you know, than this other species, even though it's,
Well,
you know,
hey,
same genre.
Joey, I'll tell you a scenario, right? My older brother, right, has got a guy who works for him, right? And this guy who works for him said he believes that the people of African descent are not as high in IQ, or they've proven that their intelligence is not as great as a white man, right? And what my brother says to him, would you tell Mike Tyson that? No.
That's fucking funny.
Hey, Mike, you know, would you tell Mike Tyson that, or Muhammad Ali that? You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
You know,
funny.
would he? He wouldn't, because he would end up in the fucking hospital. You know. So
that's funny. That's a good point. Yep. No, man. And what's really sad to me is I know some really, really good people. You know, people are so, especially in this country, they're so detuned from history that, like, dude, black people don't even know their own history. They don't know about most black people here don't know about the move bombing in 1985, you know, or like what I was talking about earlier, that, you know, Martin Luther King was found, his murder was found guilty in a court of law by the FBI killed him. Most people don't know that. You know, all they're told
there's
is
been experiments on black people in the US. How do you find, Joe, can I ask you, how do you find the race thing in Europe? You're more in Central Europe than me. I'm in the fringes in Scotland. I'm away from it all.
Well, if you ask it to me as a European, I'm not really concerned about the race thing. And if you would ask it to me personally, I only see one race.
Human race?
Yeah.
We're racing
Totally.
towards extinction.
And they're all fucking stupid. to begin with, by dividing other people into other races.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it starts already.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then I have an entire shopping list of things why they should be stupid.
Totally.
My boa is gonna beat up your python.
Yeah, okay.
It's like the whole, you're right, Joe. It's totally insane.
It's a mechanism to divide and conquer and separate and belittle some person and superiority in other ways.
I'm not really sure if it is divide and conquer. I mean, the entire economy as we know it is built up on competition, which could be seen as a divide and conquer. The second part is that realized that our entire society loved to put everything in little boxes. So you can put one single person in several different boxes instead of watching him as one person. Because we are always analyzing a person until there is no person left. Go ask a psychiatrist.
Joe,
Yeah.
That's pretty good,
Joe,
man. That's
Joe,
neat.
Joe, you've only come across me. We'll play this game here then. Right? You've only come across me for an hour here on this combined screen. As an amateur psychologist, how would you find I came across to you?
Can you repeat that question?
We've only came across each other really for
Yeah.
an hour on this meeting here.
Yeah.
As an amateur psychologist yourself, who can read people and see people and work people out, how do you find my persona, myself, coming across here?
I think you're a reasonable person to speak with. There's not really much else for me right now that I can think of right
Am
now.
I far from you? Am I far from your own thoughts? Am I far away from your own reasoning on the planet Earth and the whole thing that's happening?
Let's say that from my point of view, you still have a lot to learn, but especially about the economy and money and this kind of things. But I think that on the mass extinction part, I think we are pretty much on track, though I haven't heard you say much about that, so I'm not really sure where you are on that subject.
Well, I'm here talking amongst people that are on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And I think Mr. McPherson's kind of prediction of 2026 is depends on how we get to that stage. That could be the end, but it's building up to that as the chaotic events heading to that.
Yeah.
You do realize too that that's like the bunker dweller, you know, the best of the best underground, you know, with the most high tech. You know, these are the same people that are shooting themselves into space. So, and I think 2025 is probably more realistic for, like, probably a child that wants to live but has no planet to live on might survive to 2025 in a bunker, but not an adult who especially wants to launch themselves into space or has the aspiration, has enough money to have that kind of a bunker. Because those, you know, imagine living in a submarine, or imagine living for 6 months, and imagine getting through those 6 months, and now imagine that you're gonna be there for your lifetime. And now imagine that your lifetime is probably still maybe a year or 2 or 3 at best underground, that deep underground, with that kind of money and technology and, you know, food storage, you know. And when I say food storage, I mean, you know, you might be eating fucking beanie weenies for the last meal for like a year. I've had to do that, and after like my 4th can in 4 weeks in a row, after like 4 weeks in a row of nothing but beanie weenies, I got kind of suicidal myself, and I was living above ground. Living in a bunker, or again a submarine, for 6 months that's not what we're designed to do. That's really, really, that's a really fucked up situation to think about.
Well, you can run, but you can't hide, eh? You know what I mean? You know,
You're
it's a
already
simple
getting-
equation.
You're in
That's a
total high
mathematics
ground.
quote. But what's the fucking point, eh? Prolonging your life by
Yeah,
that amount of time.
yeah, exactly.
There's only one little flaw in your thinking about the bunker and the people having lots of money, because that lots of money is only valid in our current economy and our current living arrangements. But as soon as the entire earth is going to collapse, just like our economy, then money is worth shit.
Mm.
Yeah. Have you ever talked to Kevin about bunker living? Because he lived, as you know, he lives in New Zealand, and he's been offered, because he builds homes and stuff. He's a builder by trade as a skipper. But he has no interest in building bunkers other than helping people above ground. So he'll help you build a house, but he won't help you build a bunker, no matter how rich you are.
There's been a. I know he's been offered.
Really good stories about bunker building going on in New Zealand because of how far south they are. Like New Zealand really is, if you, because there's not as so much land in the southern hemisphere, and there's obviously less nuclear power plants, and there's none in New Zealand. So he's in a pretty good spot, but he's also, and that's what's really cool. He's telling us about all these bunkers that people are building in New Zealand, and it's insane that the details of all these dump trucks going out dirt and bringing in concrete, like literally building an underground city or something in multiple places. It's truly dystopian, even more so dystopian than if you can imagine. If you can imagine, even more dystopian where we're already at.
Human nature, right? Humans in their nature. It's what's the word? The self-preservation society. They always want to preserve life. That's why
Yeah.
I was talking to people today in my supermarket. I was picking my case of beer up from the supermarket car park. We're talking about coronavirus, and these people were from down south, in Englandshire, and I was just talking about it, and I was saying, I should let the whole thing go. Let the whole thing go. Let the weak fall by the wayside, and let the strong survive. Right?
Yeah,
If it is a natural event, if there's a natural event, nature has its ways of thinning out the herd, right?
Yeah.
And I've argued the point on this very Nature Bats forum that people know for a fact that we're overpopulated, that they'll get vaccinated, they'll hide under the covers from this virus when they know if it is a natural event, the nature has caused it to thin the herd. Anyway, that's beyond the point here. What I'm trying to say is, why are we stopping? Why are we frightened from this? I'll go back to the coronavirus again. Sorry, I'm back visiting again. That humans are not very sensible. They run away from things and hide from things when
That's
when
why
nature's something put in place for them. They'll use their technology and their oil and their printing money to try and avoid it.
Yep, we think that we're told that technology always finds a way out, but at some point, technology can't stop storms.
I've got a local book club in Yemen, right? I've got members in my local village, and one the lady always comes up with, I says, I always try and educate them a wee bit as by something before they go away. I know climate change or whatever. She says, science will always come to the rescue. It always has. Okay.
We're so lied about science.
Okay, Mrs. I believe you. Yeah? No point in talking to you. They always, science will come to the rescue.
Yeah, the problem is that science is being regulated by politicians, and politicians ignore science. So no, that's not going to
No.
happen.
No. And scientists are on the gravy train of income that keeps their kids going to fancy schools and gives them good pensions, and they can upset the apple cart.
Yeah.
As we see with Guy McPherson, he's ridiculed and being called a doomsayer and ostracized from his fellow people who should be supporting him and telling the truth. The reality is not to be followed, is it really?
But anytime somebody speaks truth to power, they're going to be ostracized, and so you automatically, if you understand everything, if you understand nature and the importance of a healthy planet, habitat, so of course he's going to be ostracized and ridiculed, and and I love that. I love, like, yeah, let's let's prove him wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is that none of anyone who says anything or calls him out or whatever, the science is it's not disprovable.
I think the bottom line, Joey, is people find it really, really, really hard to accept that the immense of their life could be very short, and they just can't get their head around about that.
Yeah. That's why we pray to Jesus. It comes now we talk about Jesus.
No, but
Jesus loves me.
He's coming back to save us, by the way, Joey. You know that. But that's why people, when you tell somebody that things could come to an end soon, they can't get their head around about that. Like,
oh no,
that's a heavy one.
It's too much. That can't happen. Not
living arrangements that they've got there now, and by the way, there's living arrangements they've got there now are quite comfortable. It will diminish as the end comes. Joe said, you picked that, Joe. The end won't just go end. There will be chaos, and there will be a deprivation of living arrangements.
It'll be, dude. That's fucking horrifying, right? Like, how fucking crazy is it that we're literally facing any day now? Literally any day now, we're facing, literally the end. The economy could collapse tomorrow. We all know that. That's how propped up and bullshit that is. And as the planet is dying, and even people who have a normal amount of money, who even have, like, their bills paid and money in the bank kind of shit. Not that they're rich, but they're, say middle class people even. Not there's much of that anymore, especially in America, but let's say that there is. And who the fuck is going to get through this? Nobody is. And that's why it's so on the cusp of, we literally don't know if we have another day. Even with the Arctic still having some ice in it, we don't need an ice-free Arctic to go extinct because of all of the other factors. Many other factors. And a lot of people really focus on the ice, which I think is very important, because that's besides economics, on the habitat scale, ice.
I mentioned it last week, Joey. I mentioned it last week, Joey, about the fact that we're throwing glyphosate at our land. We're throwing chemicals at our lands for years without the climate chaos. We weren't helping ourselves any. The topsoil was diminished.
The Amazon,
chemicals at our land to try and grow food for the ever-increasing population, which is the plant was designed to carry. So
the Amazon was the lungs of the planet, And we've destroyed that probably over a decade ago. I'm surprised we're still here, but I don't think that, I think as soon as we hit an ice-free Arctic, all hell will more than break loose. And
Joey.
again, we don't even need an ice-free Arctic for that to happen.
You know, Joey, I'll give you a 1 week. It was on the Facebook the day before yesterday about some European zillionaire who bought a big lump of Amazon just to preserve it. Did you see that one at all? But I don't know where he bought it from, right? Anyway, to preserve it as a natural. I said, well, why can the Queen of England and Bono from U2 and Bob Geldof from fucking, you know, why can they not, these zillionaires, artists, and cannot chip in and buy the whole thing? You know, and just preserve it for the natives and the world.
That's a really good point, Billy.
They've got the wealth.
No, it's not really a good point.
No. Well, let me go there. Let me go there because I'm going to go full circle on that, because that is a good point because of the audacity of that idea. Like Kevin pointed out before on this channel, interviewing Kevin Hester, talking about how his dad pointed out a rock to him, and he said, son, there are people, they're going to buy this property and they're going to think that they own that rock. That rock has been there before them and it will be here after them. They do not own that rock. Ownership of the earth, you know, that provides our life, owning and buying a part like this doesn't compute. And I'm sorry, I'm not quoting, but that was the gist of the point. And I was really, really happy that he brought that up, because that's something that I don't think people really understand in currency and money and nature. You know, they totally don't get that connection. And the fact that you know, that's why somebody like Kevin, I think, is so brilliant, because he had a dad that pointed something, just that it's simple. It's very simple, right? But what dad points that out to their kid? No dad would ever have pointed that out. But it's absolutely fact. Like, yeah, you don't own that. That rock's been there. It's not yours. You know, you can take it and put it in your living room or move it or kick it or whatever, get your head on it, whatever. But, you know, money, currency, owning that rock or that piece of property, it's not real. What's real is what's there, not the financial, right?
And that is exactly why I said, no, it's not a valid point. It doesn't really matter if you're going to put all the billionaires or all the artists who have a lot of money to buy a piece of wood or a forest or something like that to protect it. I mean, this should be normal. This should be, you know, it's our inheritance.
But beyond that, Joe, that's why I said that. It should be normal. It should be part of Earth. There should be privacy.
We are part of Earth. When I was young, I heard this bloody stupid question once asked on television. How does it come that we are so far apart from nature? I'm not, especially now that I understand how the entire economy works, how our entire society works, because they're basically one, why we are so very separated from nature. We are not, but we do think we are. Yep. We think we can buy a new forest and everything is fine.
Right. We can
and it's not. This is the big problem that created our extinction, and it's still not solved. I am a very big advocate of a resource-based economy. The Venus Project. I don't know. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, I've had it in the UK.
It's
It's
what I would have called, this is how humans should have lived. Literally. Because there will be no jobs. There will be no money. We share everything. And that is something that most people cannot comprehend. They cannot fathom the idea that we can share with each other. And when we would have done that, if we would have done that in the 1960s, when we still had a chance to turn around this entire apocalyptic view that we are watching right now, all these things that we take for granted right now, like go to a bank, get some money, take a mortgage, own a house, own a car, everything that.
Get debt.
It's not relevant anymore. There is no property in a resource-based economy. You get a house, you get your food, you get your clothes, everything you want after that, because these are the needs. And this is something that most people also confuse, is they think they need a new iPhone or new Samsung, or they need a computer. This is not correct. They want a computer. Our economy forces it that we need it. But nonetheless, if you have your needs, then you can focus on your wants. And also in a resource-based economy, everything you want, you can get for free. And this is really 180 degrees on what we have now, because everything you want and everything you need needs to be bought with money. And then you are responsible for that thing that you have bought. You should keep paying for that thing that you have bought, or probably something else.
Or we'll take it back.
We'll take it back. The bank just takes it back.
You sacrifice hours of your life to. It's not the money. You sacrifice hours of your life to make the money to get this product.
This is literally it.
Yes.
We sacrifice the most important thing for something illusionary. We sacrifice our time so we can get
a dream sold to us by the media.
An old metal.
Yeah. A dream sold to us by that TV screen.
Yeah. A mortgage is usually 30 years. Most people never pay off their house, even if they move on, or because jobs change, and especially now, like it's even worse now. But even back in the good old days, most people really never paid off their house. They would either get divorced or move on, upgrade, downgrade, or separate or whatever. It's just it's such a scam. And nobody, when was the last time in human history can you think of that it was normal to have like a job for 30 years? Work that job, you pay your house off, and then you retire at that same job. Because even in my childhood, people that were doing that were getting the company was getting bought out. The the grandparents or the parents or whatever were having they were jobs were being bought out, and they lost all their shit. Had to
Joe,
find another job, reinvent themselves. And
Joey, I mean, to lead on what Joe was saying there, I mean, I'm privileged enough to live in a small village, right, in rural Scotland, which I've told you before.
Yeah,
we've got a multitude of skills we can exchange when the time, if it does shit hits the fan, which is going to. People in cities, who would want to live in a city or a large township, where you don't know your neighbours? And I think rural people have got a wee bit of chance, and as things progress, to what's going to play out. The cities are going to be zombie apocalypses, if you ask me. I don't know about you, Peter Baggio, but I'd rather be sitting somewhere rural when people who can grow food and exchange various
Even most people
things.
in rural areas really don't know how to grow food or don't because they just don't know. But they've got like, a nicer place to live, a more comfortable place to live, which is good for them.
I see that
And-
here. I see that.
And especially in this country, because everybody in this country is really sold on the fact that, like, well, if a farmer can't grow his food, then just go to the store. That's literally how we think. I mean, I'm making a joke, but it's not. It's. I'm making a joke, but it is really
No,
how
it's true. It's true.
are here. And
Where's milk come from? Oh,
so
Tesco's.
imagine people stacked up in apartments in cities having to take a shit and their toilet doesn't run. They have no running water. So, I mean, no running water is a huge problem. That's a huge problem in itself, right? But nobody's even addressing where's all those people going to go shit? They're going to go like shit on the street corner or against the building or in the hallways. It's going to be so fucked. It's going to be so fucked when all this shit goes down. At least us, at least like I have some trees in the backyard. I can go, put my
Shit behind one.
back up against a tree and take a shit.
Humans were not designed to live in high-rise, multi-occupational. We're designed to live in small
Nature,
among again, it's overpopulation thing,
a small group of people, and you take you walk like maybe a block or what.
We're hunter-gatherers recently.
Walk a few feet, a few yards, lean up against a tree and take a shit. And
we're hunter-gatherers that are really too big for our boots. Through oil was a big thing, really. That the burning of oil was a big thing that made us more comfortable as humans. We could heat houses, we could travel further, and before that it was coal.
Yeah,
and that was quite hard days when coal was a big fuel. It was still hard then, But
when you talk about the rate of extinction, I don't think most people can comprehend digging up and burning millions of years of fossil fuels and burning them in a span of a couple hundred or a couple thousand years.
Mother Nature tucked them away nicely.
Especially as we've overpopulated the planet in the last
to keep
the last 50 years.
Mother Nature tucked away those elements, right? Underground. She tucked away them nicely to be maybe slowly released into the environment. But the overpopulation of the planet made man dig these up.
When you really just kind of think about that and the burning of fossil fuels up into the atmosphere in that same amount of time as we've overpopulated again, the whole America alone would need at least 7 planets, and that was years ago when that was just known, and we've only grown exponentially, overpopulated even more since then. Yeah, it's really hard to wrap your head around how much destruction humans have done, and that's just fossil fuels. That's not counting that's not counting the nuclear stuff, all the nuclear stuff, the bombs we've tested, the places we bombed. It's incredibly insane to think about that and how, when people talk about, the planet is resilient, it absolutely is. I can't fucking believe we're still here after what we've done. It's like our parents should have kicked, it's like our parents should have kicked us out a long time ago because we fucked up. But we're still here, and that's also why I think people are so complacent in that, oh, not in this lifetime, that's down the road or whatever. They don't understand, they can't comprehend the growth of population, digging up fossil fuels, and burning all of that back into the atmosphere, the 10 to what, 20, 30-year lag, and plus all the other greenhouse gases and methane coming out. It's, when you really look at all of the
Well,
it's overwhelming. It's just
Joey,
overwhelming.
you get the on the news tonight, on the radio today. Sorry, it was the leader of a Germany, is it the chancellor? I opened up with this one. She said, "We need to really, really, really try hard with our climate change and our, we really need to try hard now with these emissions and stuff. But
Yeah.
who's advising them? Who's advising
know.
these people? These people are leading nations. They should have the best advisors advising them on everything.
Yeah.
So,
But
are they getting told lies, or are they just corrupt politicians and want to keep the show
No.
on for longer?
They're corrupt anyway because they're trying to rule an empire on a corrupt basis, which is money. Second of all, the only job that politicians do, or what they are supposed to do, is keep our economy running. And if one advisor passes by, or maybe 10 advisors passes by, like, we have a problem with our climate and our habitat and our living environment, it's all going to shit. Yeah, okay, but unfortunately I don't have time for that because our economy.
I did a whole
literally
presentation about, can you imagine a politician running on, we have to collapse the economy to save the planet? Nobody would vote for that.
Well,
and that's absolutely, it's absolutely right, because that's anti-capitalism. In order for mankind to exist, it must grow. But growth, infinite growth on a finite planet obviously is a recipe for disaster.
you know that there is another organism that lives on entire growth. It's called cancer.
Yeah, right. And we are the cancer.
Yes, we are.
And
I can't argue with that one.
yep, and just like I points out about Tim Garrett from the University of Utah, who's written like at least 5 papers on how no matter how you power civilization, we're a heat engine, you can go as green as you think you can go. There's no technology that exists that doesn't make us heat the planet more and more. And so that's all we're going to do. We're going to continue to bomb. We're going to continue to overpopulate, consume. Yeah. It's
human. It's us. It's our. We've been sold this myth when you have to keep accumulating shiny objects.
yeah.
If
If you're rich enough, man, you can have 3 wives. You just got to buy 3 diamond rings, and then you can have 3 wives. And man, you know what? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you got new shit every night. It's all good.
We've been sold this myth. We have to have to have a better car than their neighbours. You got to keep up with the Joneses and have a better BMW in the driveway than their one.
America is the Joneses. That's why when we have a cold, the rest of the planet 2 weeks later has a sneeze.
Mm-hmm.
We are the Joneses, and it's disgusting.
Well, on that, I need to go and get some sleep here, Joey. It's 2:02 here. Big hi. Been great again, Joey, to contact you and have a crack with you. Nice to meet you, Joe, by the way.
Nice
And
to
I'm
meet
happy.
you too, Dylan.
What kind of bike have you got, Joe, by the way?
I'm sorry?
What kind of motorbike have you got? Your
What
motorcycle?
kind of?
Motorcycle.
Yeah,
a
what brand
G-
and model?
a Kawasaki GTR 1400.
Oh, I just bought I've just bought one the last 2 months after giving up bikes 20 odd years ago. I've just bought an old one, an old 1987 Honda 450 twin,
Yeah.
and to relive my youth.
Was it a night? Is that a Nighthawk or what model?
No,
What-
it's no, it's not a Nighthawk. It's a
yeah, Nighthawk is probably too new.
Nighthawk was a 4-cylinder, I think. This is only a twin. It's
Oh, right,
It's
you're right.
a CMX.
Oh, okay.
It's a kind of custom thing. It's been chopped and bobbered. It's the back end's been cut off it. A single seater affair. It's.
Cool,
I'll send you.
man.
I'll send you a photo of it, Joey.
Yeah. I'd love to check it out.
But it's good to be back. It's good to get back in the wind again. It's nice.
Yeah.
Especially in these warmer weathers.
If I wasn't overpopulated and surrounded by horrible drivers, and it would be. I would love to have a bike again, but it's terrible here. Yeah, I'm too close to work. I work close by, so I'm lucky to have not bad commutes.
I'm fortunate. Joe probably will be as well. Really, to have good roads. I mean, really quiet country roads here. It's great for bike riding. You the same, Joe? Aye.
Yeah, Holland has perfect roads.
Aye. It's nice in Scotland as well.
Fuckers.
Anyway, guys.
Anyway,
There's some mountains near me, but still very far and treacherous to get
What would
to.
you buy, Joey? What would you buy if you bought a bike? What would you have?
You have to have like multiple though, because you got to have a motocross bike, you got to have a dual sport bike, and you got to have a good road bike.
What an all rounder.
So that's what, at least 4, I think.
Are you one of them consumer? Are you one of these consumeristic Americans?
Yeah, if I want to choose the kind of riding I want to do that for that day and have fun with it, but a motocross bike, I would have to drive probably 2 hours, and who has the time for that? And then I'm going to hurt myself, and I can't miss work. Who can afford that? So, and anything else, you're going to be on the road dealing with idiots and have to risk getting run over and T-boned and hit head on. And I was announcing a motocross race a week ago, and a kid got fucking hit head on. How do you have a head-on collision on a racetrack?
A one-way track.
Yeah. But it happened. I saw
America.
it.
It's in America, mate. Anything can happen in America.
Yeah. I've never seen a head-on accident like that in all my years of race announcing, going to the races, being at the races, watching videos, everything. This is the most horrific fucking head-on collision. And I was announcing the race. I literally had the microphone in my hand, and I saw it happening. And right before they hit, I saw they were headed wheel to wheel, and I was just like, "Oh no!" And then boom, and then bikes and bodies and parts. And thankfully, we had 2 medics. We had 2 medics on hand, and one of them rode. One of the medics was faster than probably half the people at the race. A really good rider, and not afraid to say, female. She's a really most of the time women aren't that good at motocross. There are exceptions, and this woman is one of those exceptions. She's one of the best.
Why would you be why would you be afraid to say that, Joey?
What's that?
She was female. Why would you be afraid to say that she's female?
Well, because motocross is a very much a man's sport, because controlling the bike is very heavy.
Oh,
It's,
they're quite strong. I need to be
you know,
strong.
you have to be strong, and you have to be in really good shape. And not only that, you have to have, it takes a lot, not only just to get around the track and over the jumps and do all the course, but to race and pass and battle and compete. You know, you have to fucking throw elbows. You have to, you know, you have to push your way. And this is a rider, no matter male or female, that can work their way through a pack of riders after a bad start. He's literally faster than, or as fast as, probably faster than half the men that show up at the race. He's a really good rider. And you know, and it is rare. It is very rare. And the fastest women in the sport don't compete with the men on a professional level. Typically, in very rare occasions, they've qualified to make the field, but they never beat a whole lot of people. But you know, on a more local level, or even comparing, you know, the fastest woman against a really fast guy, the fastest woman is only going to lose to the top, you know, maybe 20, 40 top male riders. So a female in motocross that can compete with the men is a rarity. It's very much a rarity, and it would be no different than a female competing in the NFL. It is very much a strength, you know, a very male dominated. And she also did weightlifting. She was a weightlifter too, so that really helped her with her strength, to be able to, you know, kind of manhandle the bike and you know, battle with men. She was a really good rider. And
But
it
she
was
was
cool.
a safety officer. Was she a safety officer? And she stepped in and got
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
scene.
Yep. The race I was working at they needed a medic, and I didn't even realize she was a medic. So, but she is, obviously, and she was the first on scene when the on the head-on collision, and she came up on the first rider, and his femur, his upper leg bone, his femur was sticking out of his pants, and she was just instantly knew he's fucked. And she went to work on the other rider, which was a female too. And that's what's fucked up about the whole thing, is she should have known that she was going the wrong way, because she'd already raced. She raced in the women's race that had already happened earlier, and she rode practice. I saw her ride practice and her race, her first race. So she already knew the direction, and she missed the first rider when she was riding head on. She missed the first rider, and I was like, oh, good. They missed. She'll figure it out. She'll stop or turn around or whatever. Oh, dude, she kept fucking going. She was fucking pinned. And here comes the second place rider around this big sweeper, this fast sweeper, and he's pinned too. And I saw him, like I said, I knew they were head to head. And that's when I said, oh no. Boom. It was horrifying, man. And the kid, you know, the kid that was going the right way, he just came off of 2 broken wrists. His femur, man, his femur was, I've seen the x-rays, his femur was like separated like that. It's like complete separation. And like I said, it was through his pants. It was fucking horrifying. And make matters even worse, it was the race promoter's kid that got hit head on. So, you know, we had, you know, there was a lot of people stepped up and did, you know, more work while they tended to the kid. There was an hour break because we had to get, you know, fire and medic and all that for both riders. It was horrifying. It was one of the worst crashes I've ever seen.
It should have been really, the female rider who was going the wrong way should really have, after passing the first one coming the other way, you should think they're wised up, eh?
Yeah, and that's a great example of how dumb people are. Like he literally had to know she was going the wrong way, but like, well, I'm racing, so I gotta go this way, and then I'll get back. And like, no, if you're going the wrong way, you're never gonna get to where you need to be, and you're just gonna keep dodging people head on, right? But she wasn't even dodging people. She was just like, oh, cool, I missed him. I don't know why he's going the wrong way. I'm fine.
I think
It was
it's,
Humans.
It was
Joey,
insane.
what have you got to say, Joe? I need to go. I need to go and get some sleep. But it was great to meet these guys again. Well, first time, Joe. But you again, Joey. If you can't converse with people on this and have a good laugh and a good bit of crack with people in this predicament we're in, what can you do? Eh?
Yeah, man. We definitely went long tonight, and thanks for the 14 and a half people, maybe 15 and a half that hung out.
who is half?
And thank you guys for joining. I've enjoyed hanging out with you guys. Being able to get this shit off our chest, I think is healthy.
How did the comments go, Joey? Were the comments all right tonight? Or how did the comments go?
Yeah. No, I was just taking a peek, and
I can't see
Joanne,
them.
I'm actually gonna fire Joanne. She joined late. Oh wait, she joined earlier. Never mind. She joined in the last probably hour or so. But I'm still gonna fire her because she was late. And I got that kind of power. I'll fire people.
All right, so I'm also going to get me some rest because it's 1 hour later as with Billy.
Are you 3 o'clock there, Joey? Joe, are you 3 o'clock? What time are you? 3:30?
It's 3:30 here.
Yeah, I am. We're half 2.
Yep.
And thank you guys for hanging out, dude. I really appreciate it. And everybody in the chat. And Joanne, I'm just busting on you. I love you. Yeah, thank everybody for hanging out and being a part of this. I really appreciate it. Only reason.
Nice to meet you, Billy, and thanks for
Likewise,
talking
Joe.
with you again, Joey.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. And everybody have a happy extinction.
Yeah, well, I hope to speak to you before that.
Yes, we will hopefully do at least 2, 3, maybe more, at least.
Yeah, that would be fun.
And plus, if anybody's still on, tomorrow it's 12 Eastern, going live with John Doyle. So that'll be fun too. You guys can check it out.
And I'll post that link to the John H. Flynn clip.
Oh yeah. I want to check that out. Yeah, thank you.
You should. It's good.
I'll check it myself. Aye. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, man.
You're
Keep
welcome.
on keeping on. Keep on doing your work and getting your coins. And as long as there's something at the grocery store or pizza to be delivered, man, if we let's keep it going, right?
As long as I get petrol for my
it should be
bike.
fun.
Aye. Okay, guys.
What a crazy
Peace.
show.
Okay. Have a good night.
Good night, you guys. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome, mate. See ya.